And making sure everything looks good here. Looking good. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back. I am excited. We have got a lovely show for you tonight. Going to be playing some Super Nintendo, one of my favorite games of all time. Many would say one of the greatest platformers of all time. But before we get to that, I thought we'd just hang out, react to some gaming news, some gaming drama. It's fucking lit. Let's go.
It's pretty late in the day, but Battlefield, just like they usually do, have dropped a massive update about the Battlefield Battle Royale experience. And this is a big deal because this is the first official details and gameplay information about what this experience is going to be. So we're going to read through the blog now and react to it live. First off, Battlefield Labs community update Battle Royale testing. And there's a screenshot here of the map. You can see the firestorm in the background there. Looks devastating. It does kind of look like that this is set in America. So those were the rumors, and based on this screenshot, I'd say it's true. Los Angeles is the most likely location. This week, we begin testing a new addition to our Battlefield universe this week. Okay, so they're probably...
America. All right, so as far as I'm aware, I believe Battlefield's first attempt at a Battle Royale game mode was in 2042. I believe it was called Firestorm in that iteration as well. And from what I recall, I may be wrong about this, don't quote me, but from what I recall, it was not very well received. And I believe it even got removed like shortly after its introduction. Like it didn't last very long as far as I'm aware. Might not be correct on that, but that's how I remember it. And full disclosure, this is coming from someone who does not own 2042. I played the beta and was extremely disappointed. So I did not give DICE and EA my money for that title. But they're coming back. They're gonna try it again. They're gonna do a second iteration of it, and this time it sounds a lot more interesting. It sounds very compelling. It's basically going to be a free-to-play component of the game to compete directly with Call of Duty Warzone. And, you know, I played a bit of Warzone for the first time earlier this year when the Return to Verdansk update came out. And, because... little bit of Ghost Boy lore here. During the pandemic time, right around the time OG vanilla Warzone Verdansk was really popping off. That was like my full Back for Blood arc. So I was maining that game and playing some Extraction on the side. So I never did end up checking out Warzone. So I never got to experience OG Warzone and OG Verdansk. So when they did the whole Return to Verdansk earlier this year, I was pretty excited about it. Like I played it for like a few weeks. It was, admittedly, it was pretty fun. Like Battle Royale is not really my thing, but it was interesting. I was enjoying it quite a bit. So for DICE to come in and take a whole Battlefield kind of angled spin on it sounds very interesting. I think the big selling point that they're trying to make it differentiated from other Battle Royale titles is just massive amounts of destruction. That's one of the signature aspects of Battlefield is environmental destruction. So I think that's what they want to bring to the Battle Royale genre. So the whole idea of the last man standing archetype, the kind of problem with it is that, you know, people will play kind of just very interactive gameplay, just kind of run away, you know, try to avoid engagements, you know, try to wait till other people take each other out, which admittedly is a good strategy. But you end up with a scenario later, you know, as the match goes on and there's fewer and fewer players and the map gets smaller and smaller. Whereas if there's just too many places for players to take cover, then there's just kind of too much hiding going on and not enough engagements, not enough action, you know? So DICE and EA's whole kind of spin on how they want to innovate the genre or kind of, you know, differentiate themselves in the genre in the field is to, make it so that almost all the cover on the map can be, all the buildings, anything anything that could possibly be destroyed can be destroyed, right? So, yeah, it's going to have a lot of jackfrags will go more into detail. He's going to read this whole article, but it's going to incorporate a lot of just very core Battlefield mechanics, such as intense vehicle focus and lots of environmental destruction. So I'm excited to see what they cook up. It could be interesting.
We're going to do that on Friday, and they usually run the tests on Friday. A battle royale built on Battlefield's unique DNA. The information and feedback from players in Battlefield Labs will be incredibly valuable in helping to refine and deliver this experience. The details below are intended to help players understand our philosophy for this mode and to provide context for participants in the upcoming Battlefield Labs test so they can jump right into the action. Battle Royale the Battlefield Way. Strong title there. We see a great opportunity to infuse the core Battlefield pillars of class-based squad play. So it's going to have classes in it. Tactical destruction. Nice. And vehicle combat into the Battle Royale genre to create a high-stakes and adrenaline-pumping gameplay experience. This is Battlefield's twist on the classic formula, so you can expect to find all of the core principles of Battlefield taking place within this mode. Gadgets, explosives, destructible environments, and vehicles can all be used to secure the win. So there was a gameplay leak a couple days ago. I did talk about this in my video, when was it? Tuesday? I think Monday or Tuesday. And somebody got onto the Battle Royale map. I don't know how they did it. There weren't any other players in it, but they went around and started destroying all the buildings. And it really does look like you can destroy most of the stuff in the game, which for a Battle Royale, there's not many really doing that. So it's going to be quite a unique gameplay pillar, I suppose, of this experience. So Battlefield at its core. Key elements players can expect in this test. Map. Battlefield is no stranger to epic maps, and this all-new map has been built for the Battle Royale experience. It features a diverse array of tactical points of interest, each with distinct layouts and themes that offer unique gameplay opportunities. That's going to be like the different biomes of the map, I suppose, and you would hope that it has unique points of interest that stand out in your mind and you remember them. Vehicles. Players can find common transport vehicles around the map and even unlock powerful armored vehicles to turn the tide of battle. The intent is to offer more ways for players to traverse the map early on in a match and to create interesting combined arms action in the process. So they're going to have armored vehicles in Battle Royale. I think there was one of those in the teaser, wasn't there? They had a Bradley or some kind of LAV in the teaser that they showed at the reveal event. This, it depends how they do this, because after playing Firestorm, which was the Battlefield 5 Battle Royale, the vehicles were really difficult to balance, and I think a lot of players ended up in situations where it might have been end game and they just found themselves up against a tank. They didn't have any anti-tank ability and they were just like, well, guess I'll die. So I'm really interested to see how they try and balance this, because I think that could actually make or break the game mode depending on how easy it is to get a vehicle, how powerful they are. I don't know, we'll have to see. Next, tactical destruction. Love that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Warzone has vehicles, right? I recall. Yeah, there are some ground vehicles, and there are also some helicopters, like an attack helicopter, like a Little Bird and such. But Battlefield-style vehicle gameplay is going to be something else entirely. Are we going to see jets? Are we going to see tanks? So it's going to be pretty interesting. And yeah, like Jack Frack said, the balance around that, if I were to guess, is probably going to be horrible at the start. So that's probably something they're going to have to kind of figure out as they go along.
This destruction will be everywhere in this mode, from creating pathways through walls to toppling buildings. Toppling buildings. Some kind of skyscraper that we can knock down, maybe. We look forward to seeing players' ingenuity with destruction and how they use it to defeat their opponents. So yeah, I mean, BR can't really destroy anything in Warzone. You can destroy some stuff in PUBG. But imagine there's a sniper in a tower in a Battlefield Royale. Well, you can blow that tower up. It's going to open up a lot of interesting gameplay opportunities.
This is, as far as I see it, this is going to be the big selling point. This is going to be the big differentiating factor that makes this different than any other battle royale on the market, if it's done right, hopefully. But yeah, we've already seen news about the sledgehammer gadget that's going to be in the larger in the conquest game mode, for example, in Battlefield 6, that you can use to destroy walls and destroy buildings and just like interact with the destructible objects in the environment. So is that going to be available in the Battle Royale mode? I would assume maybe it's locked to certain classes or something, but yeah, it would be really interesting to see how destruction affects Battle Royale gameplay. It'll be super interesting to see.
Squad play. For this test, each match will feature 100 players. So they are going with 100 players. Pretty standard for a BR, I think. Organized into 25 4-player squads, fighting to be the last one standing. Communicating with your squad through pings, text, or voice over IP aims to boost the experience and enhance their tactical options. So the VoIP in the options menu in BF6, we did have a proximity chat. And I think that's going to come in clutch in this particular game mode. I don't know if they're going to have it just for your squad, so it's distance and direction based, or they're going to have actual proximity chat so you can hear enemies. We'll see.
100 player games. 25 squads of 4 players each. Yeah, they're trying to make this a direct Warzone competitor. And if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be a free-to-play component of the game. It's just going to directly compete with Warzone. So if they pull this off correctly, this could be huge. We could finally have a giant competitor to Call of Duty Warzone in the Battle Royale space. But we gotta wait and see. Let's see what they come up with. Let's see what we get.
Second chances. Okay. Between the support class revives and mobile deploy options, so support class will be able to revive. Other classes can't, but if they're in your squad, that's different to multiplayer, right? And mobile redeploy options, that'll be like a respawn device or a buy station maybe. There are multiple tools to keep your squad in the fight. Second chances. So maybe if you die early on in the game, you can come back at least once. You get that second chance, right? Could be something like that. The deadliest ring in VR. We set out to bring the most dangerous ring in gaming to Battle Royale that instantly kills players upon contact. Oh, okay. That is a bold choice. Some people will love that. Some people will hate it. With urgent warnings as the fire approaches, soldiers will be pushed into more intense firefights as the game space continues to shrink. There's no jumping in and out of it, no using it for cover, no walking through it. If you get caught in it, you are done. So they're committing to the ring killing you. So the play space is the play space. If you go into that ring of fire, it sounds like you're going to die. We're excited to see how the ring affects the pace of the game and how it creates spontaneous showdowns. That's really interesting because I think there are some, like in Warzone, for example, you can have some interesting clutch plays with the gas, but I know a lot of people don't like it and they just want the gas, or the ring of fire in this case, to be a 1 or a 0. You're either alive or you're not if you go in it. PUBG, it's insane how long you can stay in the gas. I don't want that kind of thing. So yeah, testing, feedback, let's see how that pans out.
Yeah, I'm with Jack on this one. I'm not sure how I feel about this, actually, personally speaking. But assuming they get everything else up here in terms of the destruction, the vehicle balance, etc., the class balance, assuming they get all that correct, which is a big assumption, but just for argument, there's no telling whether or not they'll get all that right? One would think actually it's most likely that they won't get it right the first time, and that it's just something they're going to have to iterate on to fucking find the right tuning and the balance for those kinds of things. But for the sake of argument, assuming they get all that correct, I think this ring mechanic is going to be the biggest pain point for a lot of people. I think that's going to be the most divisive aspect to this Battlefield spin on the Battle Royale, because yeah, I guess I'm somewhere in the middle. I think you should be able to dip into the ring as it encroaches upon you. I guess it depends on how quickly the ring shrinks. Like if we're talking Call of Duty Warzone, the ring shrinks pretty rapidly. So despite getting warnings, I mean, it's when you're playing a battle royale, it's just there's so many things. Your attention is split between so many different things, right? You're paying attention to looting, and you're trying to plan where you're going to be on the map next based on like whatever objectives you want to do. You're constantly thinking about, where are all the other enemy squads located relative to myself. And on top of that, you're thinking about the shrinking ring at the same time. Right. So at least I'm a noob when it comes to battle royales, but I found when I was playing Warzone, the ring would sneak up on me all the time. I would look down on the minimap and go, oh shit, I need to get out of here or else I'm going to fucking die. I think there needs to be some kind of balance to it. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of the instant death upon contact, just no interactivity whatsoever. I think, and if I'm to guess, like the player this is total speculation, absolutely nothing to back it up, but I would guess the player base would be very divisive. It would be close to like a 50-50 split in terms of people who like the no interactive ring, just the instant death ring, and then like another half of the player base that kind of thinks it's stupid and that there should be some leeway. He mentioned PUBG. I've never played PUBG, but yeah, it sounds like PUBG you can stay outside of the ring for longer than you can for something like Warzone, for example. So, yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Like, I think it would be smarter maybe to make the ring more punishing than Warzone, but not an instant kill. Like you can be outside of the bounds of the ring for maybe like 5 seconds before you die or something, right? I don't know how quickly it damages you in Warzone, but that seems a bit faster than what is in Warzone. But yeah, it just being a no-go zone and just an instant death, that's going to be interesting. I'm not sure how that's going to be received. We'll have to see.
It would kind of suck though if you get stuck in a building, wouldn't it? But I suppose if you got an explosive, you could just blow a hole in the wall. Classes, training and traits. Each squad gets to plan and choose which of the classes they will bring to the battle. From a balanced squad of all 4 classes to a focused squad that's all one class, your team will use the unique strengths and weaknesses of their class to adapt and overcome the unique tactical scenarios they encounter in the Battle Royale experience. So there's no hard limit of the separate classes for the squad. So you could have 4 assault players or 4 engineers, for example. Once the match begins, players are not able to change their class for the rest of that match. So you just got to lock in at the start. Pick what class you want to be. And I assume that you'll get access to some class gadgets so you can choose, because there's a lot of gadgets in the game, of course, for each class. Or maybe there's just set ones for BR. Players start the match with... Oh, here we go. Players start the match with 2 default gadgets from their chosen class. During each match, players level up by earning XP through a variety of methods, such as defeating an opposing player, bonus for finishing off a squad, or completing missions. Be on the lookout for intel cases. Finding these is crucial as they will provide XP to the whole squad. So they're going to have little contracts and missions, kind of like they do in Warzone, DMZ, that kind of vibe. As players level up through their classes training, they will gain access to new traits that enhance their chosen class and give both them and their squad a tactical edge in the match. And there's an example here. One example would be the assault class being faster in equipping an armor plate, so armor's in the game, which makes them harder to defeat in their next or current firefight. We're going to have armor plates or some kind of armor system. In Battlefield Labs, we'll be watching how players use the classes to build the most effective squads and how their unique traits contribute throughout each game. For example, just how critical is the support class's supply crate for maintaining ammo? How effective are the engineer's abilities when using or fighting against vehicles? So I guess if you go engineer, do you just always have access to some kind of anti-armor like a launcher by default rather than looting it? Maybe. the arms race throughout each match? You just always have access to some kind of.
That's a really good question there, right at the end. Because if that's the case, if it's the same as Conquest, if as engineer class you always spawn in with a shoulder launched rocket, that is going to be massively OP. Not just for the anti-vehicle capabilities, but just because a shoulder launched rocket is such a powerful tool for interacting with environmental destruction. So because environmental destruction is going to be such a key element of this spin on the Battle Royale genre, like just simply spawning in with a shoulder fired rocket that can just level a building is that's going to be really OP. Not sure how I feel about that. Not sure. I don't envy the position Dice is in terms of having to balance this game mode with all the new mechanics they want to introduce into it. That's not going to be a fun job. But class gameplay is going to be also very interesting. I think after Destruction, this is the next new mechanic or component that will differentiate the Battlefield spin on Battle Royale from other entries in the genre. Because it'll be really interesting the way people kind of theory craft this and come up with different strategies and team compositions based around the class structure. It's going to be very interesting. Hot take, not a fan of armor plates. That was something I actually did not really enjoy about Warzone when I played it. And I could be totally speaking out of pocket on this because I have no personal experience. But from what I recall, from what I heard, I do remember that OG Warzone when it first came out, when Verdansk first came out, like during its heyday when it was at its peak, people really loved that game mode. And then slowly the developer just started making changes and they just started adding more monetization, and just slowly through the years the game got more and more bloated and bastardized from what it used to be in its initial form, to the point where the reason why they brought Verdansk back earlier this year was because the game had fallen off so hard and just diverged so far from what it was originally that people were the game was not in a good state earlier this year from what I recall. And so almost bringing back the old Verdansk and rolling back a lot of the mechanical changes they made to a lot of the mechanics and just gameplay changes that they made to the title, if I recall correctly, was just it was a bit of a PR stunt. It was a bit of a marketing stunt that they were doing to try to bring back players and bring back interest in the game. And I know initially it was successful. I'm not sure how it's doing now, but I just a bit of a tangent there. All that just to say, I believe the time to kill in the original iteration of Call of Duty Warzone was a lot quicker than it is now, even after the return to Verdansk and rolling back a lot of the changes. I think before Return to Verdansk, like when Warzone was at its lowest player count and a lot of people were just really kind of disillusioned with the game. I think that's when the time to kill was the absolute worst, just because there's armor plates. You equip multiple armor plates. There's just so many. I think one of the things they brought back with the Verdansk, Return to Verdansk, was the one-hit sniper kills with the bolt action sniper rifles. So yeah, I think and from a development perspective, I can understand why they would want to increase TTK slowly over time, right? Because in the Battle Royale game mode, it's a last man standing. Your life is like highly valued, right? You only get one and then you're out. So just the shorter the TTK, the more punishing the game is, the worse it feels, to be killed and just to be one of the first ones out, right? But at the same time, that's sort of the game mode being hard and difficult, last man standing with hundreds of players in the server. Like that's kind of what made winning also getting, surviving till the top X amount of teams. That's also what made it satisfying, was that it was sort of a survival game mode where like you could be killed really easily and your life was, you only get one life and you have to value it. So And it's actually not true either. Now that I think about it, in Warzone, that you only get one life, because there's the gulag, and you can win your duel to get back onto the map, and there's a redeploy. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the TTK getting longer and longer, and there just being more fallback mechanics, and just the game getting easier. I'm generally not a fan of balancing for the lowest common denominator. I think part of what makes these genres so compelling in the first place is just like the whole survival aspect to them, and that there's a level of difficulty, and that your life has a certain amount of value because it's scarce. So yeah, my hot take, I'm not a fan of armor plates for assault class, but at least it's being locked to one class, so they could balance around that. But me personally, I would just prefer if there were no armor plates at all. I would just prefer if it was as punishing and as brutal as possible. If just TTK was the shortest as possible. If just, yeah, like you could just be killed in an instant. I feel like that makes for the most interesting, intense survival style gameplay. But that's just me personally.
Anti-armor like a launcher by default, rather than looting it. Maybe. The arms race. Throughout each match, players will explore the map, complete missions, and battle for loot to define their arsenal. There are 5 tiers of weapons to loot, along with attachments, throwables, frag grenades, gadgets, RPGs, strike packages, airstrike. So they're going to have call-ins, armor upgrade kits, and custom drops of favorited weapons. Custom drops of favorited weapons. Is that like a loadout weapon? These items can be found across the experience through general loot crates, class-specific crates. So you can only open a certain crate if you're a specific class, maybe. Unlocking armored trucks. So there's going to be, you're going to have to get the armored vehicles. Mission rewards or looting defeated enemies.
Yeah, so they saved this part for last because this all just sounds exactly like, aside from class-specific crates, this all just sounds exactly like Warzone. These are all the same mechanics that can be found in Warzone. So, or was it? Is it upgrade kits? Custom drops of favorited weapons. No, that's it. This just sounds identical to the like custom loadouts that you can make in Call of Duty Warzone, and then if you find a specific loot, or I think you can purchase them too, also from shops. But yeah, you can just you get to a certain location on the map, and through a loot crate or a shop, and you're able to pick the loadout that you've already customized beforehand before you got into the game. You're able to get a load. But yeah, I believe it costs money, and that you gotta kind of farm in the game mode first. So yeah, there's a cost associated with getting your loadout, but obviously getting your loadout is super favorable because you've set it up beforehand to be the best possible loadout for the game mode. So yeah, all this sounds very familiar. These are all just the general battle royale mechanics that already exist in the genre. You're going to have to get the armored vehicles, mission rewards or looting defeated enemies. And there's a bit about missions here. Missions will have squads try to complete objectives that offer extra rewards to gain a competitive edge over their opponents. Tasks range from unlocking high-value caches to planting explosives to eliminate mission-critical targets. So that's like safe cracking, planting explosives, blowing up specific objectives, and mission-critical targets. Is that like a bounty system? It'll put a bounty on a different player or squad. Mission details will outline the available rewards, like a weapon cache, vehicle key. So vehicle keys are going to be in. That's probably how you get a tank. Or mobile redeploy units, leaving it up to each squad to decide if the risk is worth the potential reward. Mobile redeploy unit. So I suppose if you have that, you wouldn't need to go to a redeploy station. And that must mean that the second chance times out. Once the mission objective is complete, rewards are airdropped in, so squads should stay alert for others who may attempt to steal them. So you don't get to keep the rewards if someone challenges you, kills you, and then takes them. Mobile redeploy. I just mentioned the whole gulag mechanic in Warzone. I do wonder how they're going to do respawn mechanics. How many lives do you get specifically? And what does respawning in, if you get multiple lives, what does respawning back into the game look and feel like? But missions, this just sounds exactly like contracts in Warzone, where you take a contract, you complete an objective, you get XP and money for doing so, which you can then spend towards in a shop towards, getting a loadout, getting gadgets and special call-ins and such, UAVs, airstrikes, etc. So yeah, all seems pretty standard.
These missions are crafted to challenge your squad's teamwork and reward precise execution under pressure, with the potential to shift the momentum of battle. Loot, armor, and how players engage with missions are key to the flow of play, and we can't wait to see how players connect and push these areas of gameplay in Battlefield Labs.
Yeah, hot take. Not a fan of armor. Kind of wish they'd just do without that, but it seems like they're committing to it, so we'll see.
Drop in. Testing this new mode and all of its features with the community is the true power of Battlefield Labs. We're excited to hear about players' experiences as they explore the ins and outs of this Battle Royale done the Battlefield way. We look forward to sharing more details after the testing is complete and we've reviewed the feedback from players. And that's it. Out of nowhere, they just drop a load of gameplay details on the Battle Royale. It's going to be free. It could be huge for Battlefield. In practice, how is this all going to work? Is it going to be too complicated? Not complicated enough? Is it going to be fun, balanced? We'll find out. And no information about release date here either. With that said, how do you guys feel about this? Let me know down in the comments below. Certainly some interesting mechanics there. Maybe they're doing things a bit differently than some of the BRs that have been out in the last couple of years or so. Yeah, let me know what you think below, guys. Appreciate you being here. I know this.
So that's the latest news on Battlefield, people. Please go check out jackfrags. Give him a subscription, a follow, like. Always great to see him covering the latest Battlefield news. Gosh, I wish I had a Labs membership so I could check this out. But at the same time, I'm like still processing recorded footage from the open beta to post as VODs to my YouTube channel. Like, to be honest, like there's so much footage. I don't know if I'm even going to get through all that before, in a month's time before the game actually even comes out. So half of me does wish I had a Labs access so I could check this out. But, you know what? Now that I think about it, all of this is still under NDA. So even if I was able to check this out, I wouldn't be able to share anything about it publicly anyway. So yeah, I guess now that I remembered that the whole NDA aspect of it, yeah, I guess I'm okay with not having a Battlefield Labs access. So that's the latest news regarding BF6. Now, oh boy. Well, it had to happen, people. I think we have to address the whole Riley CS drama because it has gotten to pretty ridiculous proportions at this point. So I think we're just going to dive straight in.
Blatant, obvious cheating. Aimbot. Ban this cheater using aimbot. This post on Twitter has over 70 million impressions, and the person who posted it is getting absolutely destroyed in the comments. I mean, just the audacity to post these clips which are clearly aimbot, pretending it's actually skill. They get what they deserve. Unless maybe they're not cheating. Not only is this probably not any form of hacking or aimbotting, but you or I could actually replicate this with enough practice and the right setup. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because clearly most people, most gamers in fact, strongly believe that this person is cheating. And I'll play the clips now so you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a very snappy, sus looking aim, switching between targets extremely quickly and locking onto them. Sometimes the enemy isn't even in the frame. In some cases, there's barely any time at all firing between the targets. Most of us know what an aimbot exe has looked like. We've played video games for long enough, and this is basically that. There's also this clip where they randomly lock onto an enemy behind a rock. Also, yes, the catgirl thing, I mean, I don't understand it either, but for the purpose of this video, let's focus on the aim in question, since that's what most people are talking about. Clearly, this is cheating, but let's pretend for a second that it's not. After all, they are actually professional players with aim that is way more sus than this. Tens, for example, has some clips that will go down in the history books and will be watched for years to come. I mean, some of these clips just look impossible. Then there's Bolo, a professional Rainbow Six player. Everyone was sure that this guy was cheating until he was signed to a team and played like this on the main stage. Even outside of professional players, there are absolute aim demons out there that, plain and simple, are just not hacking. Viscos, for example, is not a pro player, but is one of the top aimers in the world. And believe it or not, she's not cheating. She even has a channel where she breaks down the nuance and details of how to achieve aim that looks like this. And this is...
Shout out Viscos. Oh, it's
breaks down the nuance and details of how to achieve...
Wait, is it OC? Shoot. Oh, it is. Wow, I barely used this account. Go follow Viscos, everybody. I think everything I know about aiming I learned from this channel. It's an absolute goldmine. So if you enjoy shooters of any kind on PC, please go check out this channel. It's an absolute goldmine of information. I really wanted to go back and dive into these clips, but he's gonna slow-mo them later in this video, so let's just keep watching.
That looks like this, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are players out there who specialize in target switching like it's their job. Now, I don't mean to come across as condescending or disrespectful if you don't really understand what's happening in these clips at first glance, because of course, video games for most people, just a bit of fun, bit of entertainment, something.
Yo, kare. Arrow. Arrow.
Fun to do after work with a bunch of mates, and it's totally possible that you have 2,000 plus hours in Call of Duty.
Oh,
your aim
I was
looks
muted. My
nothing.
bad. Hey, baby. How you doing, cutie?
Hi. What's up? Arrow.
Just chilling. Doing some laundry.
Oh.
Sorry about the delay. It's because of I'm watching your stream.
Oh. I mean, if you want to use Watch Together, you can just mute this stream and use Discord. That way we can react to this stuff
Perfect.
together.
Yeah, let's do that. All right.
Just sent you the link.
Opening it.
Nice.
Okay.
Whoa, that's not the one. Derp.
Blatant obvious cheating.
We've
Aimbot. Ben this on Twitter has over 70 million impressions.
What are you sending me here, babe?
We've you've watched this one already. Oh my gosh. Okay. Where is it? There we go.
Let's pretend for a second that it's not. After all, they are actually professional players with aim that is way more sus than this. Tens, for example, has some clips that will go down in the history books and will be watched for years to come.
Ridiculous.
I mean, some of these clips...
Make sure you hit pause before you talk, so you're not like...
Okay.
So the,
yeah, that's right.
The
That's right.
video isn't talking over you or vice versa.
just look impossible. Then there's Bolo, a professional Rainbow Six player. Everyone was sure that this guy was cheating until he was signed to a team and played like this on the main stage. Even outside of professional players, there are...
There's also you and I have talked about this before, but there's also the case of Rops in Counter-Strike, who everyone thought was cheating until he actually went in person to like tournament organizers and Valve engineers and like proved to them like in person on a physical setup that he was actually doing the things that he was doing.
He's not using aimbot. He is an aimbot. There's something different about that guy. He makes me uncomfortable. It's so funny because you see his face and you're like, oh, it looks like a sweet guy, whatever, nice looking guy. It's fucking nope, scariest dude I've ever seen.
No, he's a freak of nature. He's probably an android.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolute aim demons out there that, plain and simple, are just not hacking. Viscos, for example, is not a pro player, but is one of the top aimers in the world. And believe it or not, she's not cheating. She even has a channel where she breaks down the nuance and details of how to achieve aim that looks like this. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are
Shut up, Viscos.
players out there who specialize in target switching like it's their job. Now, I don't mean to come across as condescending or disrespectful if you don't really understand.
So I've already told you about this, but just for the audience, like I didn't even know until I started looking into this stuff, but like target switching, quote unquote, is a term actually used by the aimer community to refer to a specific style of gameplay where you place. So for example, when I'm playing Battlefield, I'm like playing sweaty, play to win, like play the PTFO, play the fucking objective. So basically like, I am slow peeking almost every single corner. Unless I know what's on the other side of the corner, unless I know that I'm in a safe area of the map, I'm typically not just blind running around corners and such. Like one of the best pieces of advice I ever got back when I first started playing Battlefield 3 that I ever saw, I think this was on Level Cap's YouTube channel way back in the day. It's like that's a shout out right there. But he had some random video where he was giving, just general tips on how to be better at Battlefield 3. And like one of the pieces of advice he gave, which for me, like I really took to heart, like ended up being like one of the best pieces of first person shooter advice I ever got. And I just apply to pretty much any game now. He says, don't sprint around corners. Just do not do it. Like unless you know it's safe, unless you know what's on the other side of that corner, it's just like never just run behind a corner, because
it's so true. Because once you know that advice too, it's so weird how like it actually sticks with you. Because like now every time I do that, I'm like, it's like, you know what I mean? It hurts because it's like that's completely my fault. So it's weird. It's funny. Like it's so true. It sounds so simple. Just do it, but you'll forget to do it like 1 out of 10, 20, 30 times or whatever. And you immediately get done in, or you don't, and you realize what you just did. And you're like, oh, that was lucky. And it's incredibly good advice for sure.
Yeah, when I first saw that video and heard that advice, like I was a total like Battlefield like BF3 noob. Like it was my first Battlefield game since 1942. Yeah. Like I had like no idea what I was doing. Like just following that single piece of advice, just like brought me to a positive KD like overnight, just like immediately. Just like I just immediately took that into the game and was just like immediately like twice as good. Like it's so insane, and I've just always taken that advice to heart. But so yeah, when I'm playing Battlefield, like I am trying to use cover as much as possible. And for full disclosure, I'm pure infantry, just run an assault rifle like 95% of the time. I almost never step into a vehicle unless I'm just trying to get to another point on the map like quicker or something. It's like, so I'm just a hardcore infantry, like gunplay only almost type of player. Like that's just my play style. And when I'm playing Battlefield, like almost like 95% of the time, I am abusing cover as much as possible. I'm trying to expose as little of my player character model to the enemy as possible. I'm just trying to be the most annoying person in terms of like taking gun duels and stuff. Like I want to take the most unfair fights in terms of like the most advantageous fights for me as much as possible. Yes. Target switching refers to a playstyle that is the opposite of that. It's like you are running around every blind corner in the hopes that there are 5 enemies on the other side just looking right at you, waiting to take a duel with you. And the whole point is that you are intentionally trying to seek out the most lopsided, disadvantaged situations as possible so that you have target switching, you have as many targets to shoot at as possible. Like that is what target switching refers to. I had no idea this was even a thing before I started looking into this drama. I had no idea this even existed, like that this was a concept, right? But if you think about it, it makes sense, right? Because what's going what's going to happen most of the time if you play this way constantly, right? It's like you're going to run around a corner. There's going to be like 5 people there looking at you. You might kill 1 or 2 of them in trade before you go down, but you're going to die, right? Like that's what's going to happen most of the time, right? But every now and then you're going to turn that corner. There's going to be 5 people. Maybe only 1 or 2 of them are looking at you, and the other 3 dudes like have their backs turned or whatever, and they don't even realize that you're there for like the first 2 or 3 seconds, right? So like every now and then you're going to get really lucky. You're going to turn a corner. You're just going to play as aggressively as possible. You're going to run out into the open. There's going to be enemies everywhere, and you're going to go god mode, and you're going to just like go on a 6 kill streak or 7 kill streak. It's like that, like. Another term for this is
if you play for 5 hours a day, it's going to happen like every day.
Exactly.
Especially if you do it more and more, you're going to get better and better at it. And if you're one of these weird twitchy aimer people, man, it looks alien. The weirdest thing is the part that looks the glitchiest about it.
Oh, you there? You dropped out for a second.
It looks like they're glitching out. It's so funny, yo. Because it's so impressive. It's just like, what are you doing? How?
Oh, I think you lagged for a second. That was strange.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Oh, sorry about that. Did you hear what I was saying though? Just how it looks, like the way it looks to me, it looks glitchier. Like their hand movements look glitchier than the gameplay.
Well, yeah, so he explains this too. Like, to be a target switcher, to play this play style, these are people who are part of the aiming community we're talking about here. Like people who use like aim training programs like on the daily. They just grind these things to get their aim better. So in aim training programs, there are all kinds of different scenarios you can play, and you can even create your own scenarios. And each different type of scenario trains a different aspect of aiming. So people who specialize in this play style will specifically focus on scenarios where you have to quickly switch from target to target, and they will get really, really good at that, what you're talking about, that twitchy style aim, right?
Yeah,
and
it's so weird to see too. It's like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah, and in a way, like you could say they brought this upon themselves, because like the whole point of it basically is to look like you're aimbotting. Exactly. Yeah. The whole point is to almost emulate, how an aimbot would look. Right. So that's another reason why people like who aren't familiar with this kind of stuff and don't understand it would like look at the gameplay and immediately assume that they're aimbotting. Like in a way, like that's the reaction the people who are making these clips want, right? If people think that they're aimbotting, then they're doing it correctly, as far as they're concerned.
It's so funny, dude. Like, oh man, like
it's like ultimate pro level trolling in a way, if you think about it, right?
Exactly. But it's because they're using their ability to troll, which is so funny to me.
Yes, but it's
total dicks.
It's funny because people will see these clips, and these are just cherry picked clips, like just the best possible gameplay out of like an enormous sample. Like I mean, we'll watch a little bit of Riley's like actual like live stream gameplay here later in a bit. But like, I mean, if you actually go to the these like 7-hour live streams that they do, it's like they're not in there looking like an aimbot god for the entire 7 hours. It's like every once in a while they'll get like a cool streak where they like go on a 5 kill streak or something, but it's just like most of the time it's just them running out into the open and just like getting 2 or 3 kills and just dying, and it doesn't look impressive until it does for that one clip of a moment.
There's the other things too. It's like when I was watching it last night, it's like I clearly saw a moment where like she aimed at a stairwell like at the railing and shot like perfectly down the railing, which is interesting because it wasn't that like twitchy style. It was more like leading the shot almost, you know what I mean, like following, but there was no one there that couldn't hit anyone, and so it was just like an assumption, and it made me realize like, oh shit, like why do that then, And so there was something to it. I'm like, it's probably not wall hacks. And so yeah, you do start to see behavior that's like this would be some pretty high level fucking cheating. Like I would be very impressed. And so it's almost like as like such a noob, such a perpetual noob my whole life. I've always been a noob. I've always been behind in games. I will admit, like if it turns out somehow that like Riley's cheating or all these people are cheating, I'll eat my words. But for now, I really don't think so. It just doesn't seem like it.
Well,
Once you actually look into it.
Yeah, so the people who are like dragging this out and like are just insisting that this person's cheating, it's just like, yes, you could program an aimbot to be deceptive, to look like, oh, they're overshooting the target, but then they're correcting and stuff. But I mean, that's just completely defeated by the fact that she streams with her hand cam on the fucking thing. Like you can see that the movements match up. So I mean, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Understand what's happening in these clips at first glance, because of course video games for most people just a bit of fun, bit of entertainment, something fun to do after work with a bunch of mates, and it's totally possible that you have 2,000 plus hours in Call of Duty and your aim looks nothing like what I've just shown you. But also consider the other side. There's a small group of people where video games, and specifically aiming in them, is like their only hobby. Not only is it a hobby, it's an obsession. That same 2,000 hours has been spent, relentlessly practicing and training their aim, playing and fine-tuning with all of these different settings and upgrading their setup, spending thousands of dollars to get the lowest latency possible. Once you pull back the curtain just a little bit, now this sort of aim doesn't seem so unreasonable. This specific aim though, this snappy target switching aim, has become really popular lately. I think people intentionally do it just for clips because it's like as close as you can get to looking like an aimbot without actually using cheats. People intentionally play like this for clicks, views, and also for others to say that they're hacking. To them, it's a bit of a compliment because, I mean, if someone is certain that you're aimbotting, but it's really just your own natural ability, that is a massive...
Yeah, it's a bit like if I have a buddy who's just jacked. He's just got really good genetics. And he did like take creatine back in the day, but he found that he just gets better results by just eating high levels of protein. And this guy, he's a bit shorter than me too, maybe 2-3 inches or something. So like he would always try to encourage me and be like, no, dude, trust me. It's just because I'm shorter. I just put on muscle easier. But in reality, he's just a jacked friggin' half Greek god. Like it's just the way it is. Like it's, if you look at like some of the like his uncles, his Greek uncles and stuff, they weren't so much jacked, but they were these wiry just units in the past. And it's because what he figured out was his metabolism is so fast. Like I one time, like for a couple weeks, just tried to keep up with his diet, and I would feel sick. But if he doesn't eat that much, he actually shrinks. Like he just puts on muscle. It's from years and years and generations and evolution of people who just conquered other people or something. Like he's just jacked. It's just the way it is. And so when people accuse him of being on steroids, he's like, dude, thank you so much. Like it's like he's like a big tough dude, but he melts and turns into a little boy. You know what I mean? He's like, oh really? Like, it's really the ultimate. They're like, yeah, what are you on, bro? Like what do I have to take to get that? And he's like, well, you have to go back in time and get your mom to marry a Greek dude. That's basically all you can do. Like it's not, you can't. Like, yeah, so it's like it is true. Like there's something to that where you just kind of like the first few times you get accused of being on steroids or cheating or whatever, right? Or like plastic surgery or what it is, you're like offended. But then after a while you realize like this is the ultimate form of flattery. People literally can't fathom how you could be that good or that jacked or look that whatever. You know what I mean? Like they can't even understand what they're looking at. Which is also like part of the reason where like certain players in certain sports will just suddenly change the game and everyone's like, yo, this person's definitely on steroids. Let's be honest, in this day and age, there's a chance that they're on steroids, but it's not, you can't prove that until the blood work comes back. You know what I mean? Like the chances are they're just the next generation of the player in that sport. And it's like, that seems to be what I'm seeing here. And of course it's a compliment, especially when like you actually get kicked for cheating and stuff. It's like, oh yes, like I'm so good that they think I'm an aimbot.
Something else to note is that this is just...
Also, he touched on it a bit earlier, but the whole concept of optimizing your setup for latency is actually really huge. And it's something that most casual gamers just like won't understand because they don't really have experience with it. And the only way you would really have experience with it to the point where you would like actually give a shit or like research it or look into it or understand what it is if either you're someone like this who's really obsessed with aiming, you're just like a part of the aimer community and you just like, want to get really good at aim trainers and stuff, or if you're a competitive gamer of some kind, if you're just like, if you're grinding the ladder and you really want to get a really high rank or you want to go semi-pro or pro or something like that. And the thing is, like latency is pretty much everything when it comes to competitive gaming.
Yes.
It's like if I were to single out a single most important factor that you like need to nail down if you like want to be like highly skilled at a game. And I'm not saying you can't be highly skilled at a game without it, right? But everyone will be better on a lower latency setup. Like you can be highly skilled on a bad latency setup, but you'll be even better on a good latency setup, you know? So it's just,
well, that's the thing, dude. It's like there's been athletes out there who are like just fat as fuck and just total like just unhealthy as hell and getting drunk every day and like, you know what I mean? And they do amazing, but they're extremely rare. And we've all wondered how good they would have been if they just locked in and got their nutrition down. Like latency is just your nutrition. Like, of course you need to, you know what I mean? It's like if you can have an incredible car that can go super fast or whatever, but if you don't feed it good fuel, if you just feed it trash all the time, it's gonna wear out. It's not gonna compete to the level that it could have if you fed it like high octane, whatever, right?
exactly.
So, yeah, it's just, yeah, it is kind of funny too though when you do see people that are like I have a couple friends from Australia that are just really good at certain games. And it's hilarious. Most of them are like co-op games, and so you could say like, oh well, we're not playing against other players. So I mean, it's, you know, how good are they really? But it's like, dude, they're so much better than the rest of us at the co-op game. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know what to say anymore. Dude's got 220 ping and it's just picking off headshots. He's just figured it out. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know. I guess I just suck, which is kind of true, but not everybody else sucks, and they're still blown away, right? So it's like you do have people that can play like that, but probably not competitively against other players. Like if they're playing League of Legends or they're playing Counter-Strike or anything like that, man, it's gonna be some real issues. Although ping isn't the only thing that, you know, that affects latency for sure.
Also, just latency in many ways is extremely counterintuitive, especially for like the average casual gamer who just like doesn't really know anything about it or just like hasn't like really researched into it. Like before I looked into maybe more people know this nowadays.
Sorry. I cut out for a second there. The last thing you said was latency is kind of misunderstood by the casual gamer. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's just kind of counterintuitive. Like,
yeah.
Like I didn't know until I started looking into it, and maybe this is like more well known these days, but your frames per second doesn't just signify how well your game is performing from like a graphical perspective. It also signifies how quickly the game is calculating its own internal engine and logic, right? So the higher your frames per second, just as a general rule, there's things that muddy the waters now because there's things like NVIDIA frame generation, which is actually just like a giant marketing gimmick that doesn't apply to this. But just generally speaking, your frames per second, the higher your frames per second, the lower your latency, because the higher your frames per second, the more times per second the game is calculating its logic and calculating your inputs and like receiving in it's the game is updating more times per second the higher your frames per second is. So it's not just a measurement of graphical capability. It's also a measurement of computational capability of just your computer and the game running itself.
You kind of brought up a good point there as well. Like, see, like all of that information and stuff, if you are pro and you're getting to the point where you're pro, you're going to start learning that stuff more the same way that you'd learn nutrition. And then when you get to a pro team, you're going to have a nutritionist. You're going to have someone who knows that better than you could ever. Because that's what they do, right?
Like,
so that's the thing is like you literally don't stand a chance because you're doing all of it. Like when you're a semi-pro athlete, it's a similar thing. Any competition really that you do, could be chess, could be anything. You're pretty much doing it all yourself. You're your own travel agent, you're your booking agent in terms of like where you actually go compete. You're your own promoter, you're your social media person. You might have some fans who help out with a little bit with that, but when it comes to like the actual computing side of things, you're just looking all that stuff up and just trying trial and error, whatever works. And the people on the actual teams, they'll share stuff with you if you're on the team, but they don't want to give away the latest secret.
Exactly.
And they don't want people to have an edge.
Yeah, and a great example of that is like, for example, if you see like a first person like on like a tournament broadcast, if production shows you like a first person POV of just like what a player was seeing on their screen when they were making a specific player or something, you'll usually notice that like the resolution is just like a sub HD, like extremely pixelated resolution that you can like barely make out what's going on the screen, and like all the settings are turned down to the lowest, and you're just like, how do people play this way? But the reason the professionals play that way is because you want the highest frame rate possible, so you can have the lowest latency possible. So in the you go into the game settings, in the graphics settings, you turn the resolution down to the lowest possible thing that it can go to. You turn all the settings down to their lowest possible value so that you can get the highest possible frame rate and the lowest possible latency possible. Like that's how you gain the biggest possible advantage in game as a professional.
Which was
right?
so weird for me to adjust to that.
Yes. And I mean, that's what I do in all my games. Like when I'm playing BF6 or Extraction or whatever, like I'm playing at like 720p, like with fucking NVIDIA DLSS like cranked up to its most aggressive setting. So it like my game is like rendering at like 420p and then being upscaled to 720p, which is then being upscaled to like, you know, my 1080p monitor and stuff. And then so the thing is like most casual gamers, like when they like, first of all, a lot of people don't even mess with their game settings. They just play with whatever's the default. But a lot of times, like when people are like tuning their setups, they're like, "Oh, I need a 4K OLED monitor, and you know, I'm gonna go into the game settings and I'm gonna crank everything up to ultra." It's like that. That is literally the opposite of what you want to be doing if you want to be optimizing for a competitive setting, right? Because playing at 4K with everything cranked up to ultra, you are actually going to get the lowest frame rate possible, right? You are actually going to get the highest amount of latency, right? Your game's going to be running at 60 frames per second, like at best, right? Probably less than that, right? That means that game engine and the computation of your PC is only updating 30 to 50 seconds for 30 to 50 times per every second versus somebody who did the opposite. They cranked down all their settings and everything's at the lowest. If they're getting 300 frames per second, their game is updating 300 times per second, right? Their game is measuring their inputs at 300 times per second, right? So that's going to be many magnitudes faster than what your game is running at, right? So it's like it's not just ping, it's not just skill, it's not just aim. Like these things all it's also things like latency. All of these things stack up to create a sum. It's an equation, right? It's like it's the difference between all these things that equal the difference in skill and the difference in result and stuff, right? So that's just such a huge concept that unless you're like aware of it or you've experienced it, it's like really hard to quantify. It's like really hard to understand how important that is unless you've like actually experienced it. So I don't know if there's anyone listening who hasn't like investigated that stuff. It's like, yeah, I would highly encourage you to investigate it. Just go into your favorite.
Even for like a noob like me on a basic setup, like at that, just changing lower, because you went in and helped me change my settings and lowered everything, and it's like I'm nailing headshots a lot easier than I was before, for sure.
Yes. It doesn't even matter if you don't have a gaming monitor, if you don't have a 100 plus hertz monitor. Like it's totally, even if you're on a 60 hertz monitor, you can still experience what I'm talking about. It's like go into your favorite, go into the shooter that you have the most hours in, go into your settings, crank the resolution all the way down to the lowest setting that it'll go. Like maybe not the lowest setting, but the lowest setting that's the same aspect ratio of your monitor. So I use a 1080p monitor, for example, and in a lot of modern shooters, the smallest widescreen resolution will be 720. Like it doesn't go any lower. All the lower ones after that are like 4:3 stretched resolution. So for example, if you're on a 16:9 aspect ratio monitor, crank your resolution setting in the game down to 720p. Go to all the specific graphic settings and just set them all to the lowest value that they can go to, and then try playing the game like that, and you will notice a dramatic difference in the latency, in the smoothness of the game, and the amount of control that you have over your character and your inputs and stuff. Like it'll be very dramatic. Like you will be surprised. It's just something that you can't really understand until you experience it. It's not even really something that I can explain to you. It's something that you have to feel. It's something that you have to like intuit. It's something that you have to like understand from like actually like experiencing it in real life.
No, I got that for sure. It just changes, like it just makes everything so much more snappy, and there's just in general, it's crazy how much less jank there is how I would describe it. Like the amount of times that I would like my reticle or my ADS would be like right on them, and it would just not. It was like it just wasn't laser beaming them. You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't quite getting them. And then sometimes, like especially in co-op games where enemies would almost just would just do weird like sideways moves and like slide around and shit like that, and it dramatically decreased that. Or at least so far it has. I mean, I've only been playing like that for a month, but it seems to be the case.
Oh, we'll do more optimizations to your setup when you get here in person.
Aw, I can't wait.
A
Assuming
handful
that
of
we can-
clips in what is
Never mind.
What's
No,
that?
never mind. Probably wasn't appropriate for the stream.
Sounds about right.
Actually, you know what? Hold on a sec. I'm gonna go check my laundry real quick. Sorry.
Go for it.
You can keep playing it though. I've already seen it, so
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Sure.
probably a 5-hour plus gaming session. Riley, who is the person who posted this, is not this accurate all the time. I know because I checked their stream, and while there were plenty of really nice clip-worthy moments, there were also plenty of misses. Most of the time, they weren't even at the top of the leaderboard. And no, that's not just them toggling their hacks on and off. Their aiming speed and style was the same no matter what. The only thing that really changed was whether the enemy was looking at them and shooting back.
Not only that, you can see the hand cam in the corner. It's just the amount of hate this person is getting is out of control. It's actually insane. It's just everyone jumping on the hate wagon, just wanting, oh, the hacker got exposed. It's just it's so ridiculous.
They also do play with a hand cam which matches the physical mouse movement to the cursor. As far as I can see, it's perfect. Besides, if you slow down any of the sus clips and look closely, there is plenty of overflicking and corrections. This is not what aimbotting looks like at all. Crazy how the reticle keeps snapping instantly from one enemy to the next. I think this specifically is what sells this style of aim as aimbot, because most people see this and it just looks humanly impossible. It looks like physically impossible to move your mouse that fast and stop so abruptly. In reality, this is actually very achievable. Grab a lightweight mouse, a cloth mouse pad with a lot of stopping power, ramp up your sensitivity to something moderate to high, and just simply try and make every mouse movement as snappy as you can, moving the mouse quickly and stopping really abruptly. In addition to that, you can throw on some mouse acceleration, which multiplies your sensitivity above a certain input speed and looks really unnatural. And there you go, you have now really snappy aim. Then you just practice that for 5 hours a day for 3 years and you get the absolute aim demons that you see popping up today. Again, for some, gaming is just a bit of time to chill out and relax. For others, it's about drinking 3 white monsters and trying to beat your personal best in an aim trainer, or farming some clips. Even for myself, I practice this style of 3 white monsters and trying to beat your demons that
the use of aim trainers cannot be overstated here. Like this is the equivalent to like an NBA fucking player or a professional golfer like shooting 1,000 balls a day, like, you know, at the range or in the gym or something. It's just like these people practice the shit out of this stuff so that like what you're seeing in game is the product of thousands of hours of just grinding. It's like not just in the game, outside of the game too, like just drilling mechanics. Like this is what the people accusing this is what the people making the accusations just don't understand. So yeah, that just cannot be overstated enough.
Again, for some, gaming is just a bit of time to chill out and relax. For others, it's about drinking 3 white monsters and trying to beat your personal best in an aim trainer, or farming some clips. Even for myself, I practiced this style of aiming for 1 afternoon and yeah, it just looks not normal. Am I at the level of some of the people that I've shown you in this video? Absolutely not, but also, it's at least close enough to the point where I can tell myself if I did practice this relentlessly and I was obsessed with it, yeah, I definitely could be. Again, it's intentionally trying to look aimbotty and unnatural, and most of the time is not even the most effective way to play. There is one clip though from Riley which is extremely sus. After eliminating one target, they flick to a new one behind a rock. The truth is, this does look like aimbotting, and I honestly don't know whether they're cheating or not. But one thing I can say, this whole flicking to random stuff immediately after a kill is totally normal for this style. I honestly don't know whether they're cheating or not. Eliminating one target, they flick to a new one
Yo, everyone points this clip out as just the
And
one
most
that's
of the
the
time
most
is
sus.
not
It's
even
not
the
even
most
sus at
effective way
all.
to
Look at
play.
this.
There is one clip though from Riley which is extremely sus. After eliminating one target, they flick to a new
Look.
one behind.
And my launcher is gonna be like 20 more minutes, so I'm back.
Sure. Okay, so this is a clip that's
Is
singled out.
not even the most effective way to play. There is one clip
This is the clip that's like singled out as the most suspicious. Looking back at it in slow mo, it's not suspicious at all. Like, look at this carefully.
though from Riley which is extremely sus. After eliminating one target, they flick to a new
Look at where the target actually is when they appear from out behind the right. Like, look at how far she overshot on
most
the
of
initial
time is
flick.
not even the most effective way to play. There is one clip though from Riley which is extremely sus. After eliminating one target,
Oh man, I can't. All right,
Yeah.
let me keep struggling to get the right frame.
hitting one target, they flick to a new
Oh,
one
let me wait for the
behind
slow-mo.
a rock. The truth is, this does look like aimbot.
Look at how
Yeah.
much they overshot.
Yeah.
Like this, the player behind the rock is like on the right side of their reticle right now. Like on the circular sight, they're like on the right.
Yeah.
They're like almost like 3 or 4 body lengths like over to the right of where this reticle is right now. So it's just like, yeah, no, this is 100% like they just flicked there for the sake of it. And then there just happened to be a person there. But like they didn't even flick directly on top of the person. Like it's,
And I honestly don't know where
yeah, this is not even suspicious
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
you're
just
right.
this is just actually just mob mentality. Just people just fucking rate.
No, I won't lie. Like when you first see it, when you're not breaking it down like this, you know, frame by frame, whatever. And for a noob like me, like I was immediately, that's what I thought. You know what I mean? Like I was pretty convinced because I'm a noob. So I can totally see how it does suck the way mob mentality works though. The way people just jump on shit, it's getting worse and worse and worse in the weirdest ways. Like I could bring up the whole fucking savage thing with Rajah Jackson and stuff. There's been people who have come out and been like not even defending him at all and have just gone like look, it's weird that he hasn't been arrested yet. Like the cops have all the evidence, you know, what's going on there, and people have canceled them. Like huge amounts of mobs have canceled the people for pointing out the reality that Raja hasn't been arrested yet, as if they're saying that he shouldn't be. These are people who are friends with Rampage Jackson too, so it's like you would expect them to defend his son, right? To some degree. And people have lost it, like on Chael Sonnen and shit like that. And it's like it's crazy to me because I'm like, yo, this is wild. I do think some of these people are kind of provocative, and so people were hoping, like again, Riley's like provocative. She probably had more haters than she realized, right? So when she did this, it was like they went hard on it, right? But with that being said, that's really like the disturbing part, because yeah, like at first glance as a noob, like I didn't really even notice how much she overshot. It just looks so suspicious. But then I learned about this type of aiming and stuff, and I look at a bunch of her other footage, and it's like, probably not cheating, most likely not. But I could totally see how it fools a lot of people. The disturbing part for me is how people get so like convinced that they're just automatically right about things and like on some moral high ground, when it's like, dog, you sound like someone who hasn't left your mom's basement. You know, not that there's anything even wrong with that, but it just really does kind of give you this like, it's like go outside, like experience things. You know what I mean? Like it just I don't know how else to put it. That it really is getting kind of like disturbing, but it's making that very, regardless what side or what, because now even the sides are divided. So what camp it's coming from, you know what I mean? Like it could just be that those haters over there, it could be these haters over here, but it's making all of their voices just kind of muted. Like the rest of us are just kind of tuning them out. It's like we don't even care anymore. You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, whatever. Even if there's like 1 million people, it's like, yeah, but it's 1 million out of how many? You know what I mean? And I don't mean how many in the world. I mean like how many Battlefield players are there? If there's 1 million Battlefield players hating, it's like, yeah, but isn't there like 10 million Battlefield players? It's like 10% of the player base. It's like, dude, hop in a time machine with me and come back to the old COD lobbies or the Day of Defeat lobbies or the Halo lobbies that I was playing in back in the day. Like you wouldn't last, boy. You would not last. If you think you stand on some moral high ground. So
Yeah, that's true. Even the raging mob is actually just a vocal minority. It appears to be larger than it is. And yeah, the next video we're going to
it is
watch.
disturbing though. Let's be honest.
Yes,
very
it is. It's wild how out of control and out of proportion this drama has gotten. But the next video will elucidate this like very well. But just the amount of Dunning-Kruger behind this is just so insane. The amount of people who are just like making accusations and they just clearly don't know anything.
Accusations, I love it.
They clearly don't know anything about this stuff.
That's
like
pretty
they're
funny.
clearly not skilled or have the experience or
Yeah.
expertise or knowledge to even be. They're just totally speaking out of pocket. So it's just it's pretty crazy.
Accusations is fucking wild. That was funny.
Whether
I've
they're
never heard
cheating
that
or
before.
not.
Oh, really? That's another old.
I know it's got to be an old one, but
Yeah, it's another old Battlefield 3. At least that's where I first heard it. I'm sure it's older than that, but yeah.
But one thing I can say, this whole flicking to random stuff immediately after a kill is totally normal for this style of aiming. Even for myself, practicing like this for a couple of hours, I found myself just preemptively switching to something new after I had cleared a target. Sometimes there was someone there, sometimes there wasn't. I'm sure
I mean, you can go even further than this. This isn't just limited to this style of play. Like I've told you before, but it's just like having situational awareness in a first-person perspective game like this. You have to be constantly panning your camera. Like that's a sign of high-level gameplay. Like you watch any highly ranked player at any first-person perspective game, they are constant like. The amount that they pan their camera equals the amount that they are situationally aware of what is around them equals like how well they are able to take in the cues that are in their environment. Like I mean, I told you this before, but just like in almost every first person, I just have a habit. Like anytime I'm reloading, like that's a situation where you're vulnerable. So like anytime I'm reloading, like I'm almost always panning my camera like to the left and to the right. Like I'm flicking to the left or the right 90 degrees, or sometimes even like a full 180 degrees to see what's behind me, like while that's happening. So, you know, if there's some threats there, I can understand that. Oh shit, I'm in a bad situation. I need to do something. Like, you know, it's like that's just become a habit of mine now, right? But for a lot of high level players, that's just a very basic thing you do. It's like you pan your camera, you flick to the left and right like constantly, so you can be aware of what's around you.
yeah, and I have seen that. on gameplay for sure.
if I did this for long enough like an absolute psycho, I'd probably get some really suspect clips as well. Let's also not forget that there's the mini-map and audio cues. It's totally possible that this schizo aiming is just a reflex and they forgot there was a rock there. So for Riley specifically, I don't think they're aimbotting. You can clearly see the over-flicking and the corrections in like all of the clips.
No,
and of course, I mean, there's
really
the mouse cam as well.
Weird.
Oh.
Yeah, let's just pause it for a sec. I'm sorry about that.
Like your video player's lagging?
Yeah, it was just my video player. Okay, I'm back though. We're good.
Which really closely matches all of the cursor movements as far as I can see. If Battlefield can't kick incredibly obvious 100% confirmed aimbot cheaters like this, I have zero interest in the game. EA needs to ban fake players like this or the game.
See, the amount of arrogance in Dunning-Kruger is like 100% confirmed. According to who? According to you? Yeah. What do you know? It's just like, oh my goodness. It's just so out of control. It's wild.
So also another reason why don't look, there's no wrong emotions. There's no inaccurate emotions. You feel the way you feel for a reason, but that might not be the reason you think. And so your emotional reaction doesn't need to be your chosen response. Your reaction and your response should definitely not always be the same thing. Now, obviously you don't want to dumb down your emotions to the point where like you see someone get friggin' hit by a car and just kind of go like, oh, I don't have to respond to that. No, immediately react emotionally and call a friggin' ambulance. Like, you know what I mean? Like your emotions exist for like, that's why you have these like snap reactions, is so you just an anvil doesn't fall on your head, so a snake doesn't bite you. You know what I mean? Like this is like, that's the point of them. But when you're online, like, this is why, like, I hear people all the time, I'll be like, man, the YouTube algorithm sucks. It just gives me the worst shit. And I'm like, why do you click on it? My YouTube algorithm is awesome. It is so dope because I stopped clicking on that crap years ago.
Oh God, those are like the people who are complaining that they're getting like AI porn ads on YouTube and stuff. It's like, bro, the algorithm only sends you that kind of stuff if you have a history of clicking on certain things. Like, let's say that's a self-report right there. It's like, oh no.
Now there could be maybe some other factors into that, possibly like. Maybe if you're like, especially when it comes to like certain news, like if maybe certain people who like a certain type of music, maybe the majority of them skew a certain way. And so if you click on this, you might click on that. Like that could be a thing, you know. But for the most part, um, it you can change your algorithm. I did it years ago, and it's great. Like I get nothing but like dope martial arts stuff. I even noticed it. So when the raw judge action stuff popped off, I was clicking on like videos that could give me more information about it, right? I actually avoided it for like a day or two, but I was like, man, this must be really bad if it's this to this level, right? And so I started clicking on more stuff, and all of a sudden my martial arts side of YouTube went from like dope like karate stuff and like self-defense techniques and like old school fights from the 90s and stuff like that. It flipped over to like just UFC tabloids, and it was just nothing but UFC tabloids. I had to stop clicking on it. I even decided to tell YouTube, hey, don't show me these specific channels, because your brain, like, look, if you're down at the beach and you see some beautiful, attractive people, your eyes are going to be drawn to them. Then maybe the sun starts to set over snow-capped coastal mountains. Your eyes are going to be drawn to that, to beauty. And then a shark sprouts legs and starts charging out of the water. That's danger. You're going to look at the shark, right? So when you're on the internet, your brain, it's like it's taking advantage of the fact that you are naturally a person with empathy who cares about things. You want to be informed and stuff, but combined with that dopamine loop, it's extremely bad for you. Just stop doing it. You can't possibly be informed really unless you're doing it looking at things objectively. And so like this response here, if Battlefield can't kick incredibly obvious 100% confirmed aimbot hack, this sounds so ridiculously emotional. Like just the amount of redundancy in it. Can't kick incredibly obvious 100% confirmed. You don't need 3 of those words.
Right. You
had to add them because you're emotional, bro.
The bitterness is palpable.
Point blank, end of a discussion that doesn't need to be had anymore. You know what I mean? And so he's responding here with an emotional response. Sorry, I'll just finish my point. So it's like, well, you don't have any wrong emotions, so why are you emotional? It could be the fact that like Battlefield has had a long history of just a problem with cheaters. Maybe this person is just so tired of like Battlefield 2042 and Battlefield 5, all that drama and everything. Maybe they're sick of that. Maybe they're just sick of EA. But the emotional response that they're getting triggered here towards Riley is actually not coming from solely Riley. Like this is clearly some built up emotional shit going on. It could just be stuff in their life. Maybe their life isn't going the way they want. I mean, I noticed they got a check mark. Maybe they're not as popular as they want to be or something. Who knows, right? So, or they just suck at the game. Who knows? I mean, I suck at the game. Sometimes I have to stop playing. I'm like, damn, dude, I'm tilted, right? So the thing is like, if you go online as if you're going into the woods or something and like you have to look at every single danger, like you're getting the danger from the whole world. Every like crappy thing you see, your algorithm's just going to show you that. And it's going to show you not only that, but it's going to, the people who are most likely to click on that stuff, it's going to show you the stuff that they clicked on. Because the whole point isn't to show you what you like, it's to show you what you engage with. So don't engage with it. It's like if you have a totally nutcase downtown, when you're walking, you'll observe them, right? But you don't engage with them. You don't get pulled into their insanity and then have your whole day, possibly life, ruined by this person. You go past them. It might sound cold, but make it like choose your battles, man. Like this is just, yeah. So that's what I see here. It's just someone who's getting locked into that immediate emotional reaction instead of choosing their responses. Cause it's like, listen to this. If Battlefield can't kick incredibly, okay, there's one word that can be obvious. You've already used 2 words. You don't need to. 100% confirmed. You literally could have just gone, if Battlefield can't kick confirmed aimbot cheaters like this, I have zero interest in the game. But it's like, yo, like you didn't even proofread your statement here. Just redundancy. Like it's almost like when people complain so much and then other people, people kind of stop listening. Have you ever had a friend that would be like, you'd be like, hey, what are the chances that you're going to come through today? 100%, 100, right? And then people just stop listening because their 100% is actually 10. And so they start saying 1,000%.
Oh God.
Right? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's this person right here. 100% confirmed hacker. Next time they post, it's going to be, yo, if they can't kick 1,000% confirmed hacker, because no one's listening to you anymore, bro. Because you're emotional.
Sorry, that's been stuck in my head ever since you said ambulance. So I needed to get that out.
No,
it's
it's true though.
the problem with the internet is that all these algorithms are cynically programmed to keep you on the site as much, just to keep you engaged by any means necessary. So if somebody like this, for example, and I don't want to make assumptions, but let's just assume that they are being emotionally driven and that they're just being rage baited by everything. It's like, if they're just being rage baited by everything, the algorithm is just going to keep feeding them nothing but rage bait. Like, that's the problem. It's like,
Yes,
they're just,
yes.
it's just going to keep giving you more of whatever you click on. Right. So yeah. And I mean, in like this, like, you know, this, you're pointing out how like incredibly poorly worded this tweet is. Like, it's just, it's a self-report. It's like a total breakdown in logic, or just a lack of logic, you know, completely, for that matter. Right. It's like, okay, it's like you can,
that too. Yeah.
you can be emotional. You can have a negative reaction to seeing these clips, but it's an incredible logical leap to go from that, like, oh, these clips look suspicious, this makes me upset, to incredibly obvious 100% confirmed aimbot cheater. It's like that, like, according to who? What proof do you have that that's the case? Like, what arguments? Like, there's no critical thinking or logic happening in that. Just, you know, it's just immediately jumping to the worst possible conclusion with absolutely zero evidence, and it's just like, yeah.
I wonder if there's
like, cool your jets.
I wonder if there's going to be a niche soon for like creators or streamers specifically who are kind of more like less sensationalized, because people are just going to be so exhausted by all of like getting pulled into this shit. Because it is, again, like, if you find yourself getting pulled into like bad algorithm spirals and stuff like that, don't, like, doom scrolling, whatever, like, don't judge yourself badly. That's the internet taking advantage of your best quality. You're an empathetic person, you care, right? And you want justice, you want fairness and stuff. Like, don't let that just because you have these emotions, don't let it like make you feel like you're weak. That nothing could be further from the truth. If you're not able to be vulnerable, that's like fragile. I've gone through like long periods in my life where I just couldn't feel things like shame, couldn't feel things like guilt, just couldn't deal with it anymore because life was too hard, and I just like had to do what I had to do to get by. And I couldn't like judge myself based on the person with the Ferrari, like, nor did I judge them. I just didn't care. And the thing is that did help me. It hardened me up. But without being able to be a little bit soft, I actually was weak. There were situations I just pulled myself out of so I wouldn't break. Like social situations where I was like, I can't go back there. Those people got me tilted. I'm not. It's weakness. That just means that you're easier to move. Like, you can be physically moved by your emotions. That's a dangerous thing, and that's all I'm saying. So don't let it make you feel like you can't have those feelings. They're important. Just absolutely you know, maybe question yourself, maybe as you're going to do the response right away, maybe take a minute, put your phone down, whatever it is, your computer, whatever it is that you're doing it on, take a minute and then go back and like see, it's like, do I even care that much about this? You know what I mean? Because also, I can almost guarantee, unless you are the fastest person at responding to things ever, and you are so witty and you're so educated on everything, you're probably not going to say anything that isn't already going to be said. That's the other thing. There's been so many times where I've been going to make an emotional response, and I just quickly go to the comments, and there's 10 of those responses, and I go, oh damn, I'm one of these idiots. You know what I mean? But the truth is, you're not an idiot for that. It's just that it's your natural. You're supposed to see the snakes in the grass, bro. Your attention is supposed to be drawn to danger. Like, be informed, know the danger. But it's like, bro, the internet is all the danger in the world all at once. So when you're outside, it's important to have that, because you want to notice the danger in front of you, because you're not over sensitized, you're not overstimulated by all the danger in all of the world all at once. Every war zone, every outbreak of every disease and earthquake and volcano and friggin' plane crash and boat sinking and shooting and stabbing and just insane shit all over the world all at once. You can't do that, and it doesn't help you. Like, it just doesn't. There is like a certain amount. Sometimes stories do get like sensationalized, and it can be a good idea just to be able to be somewhat informed. But for the most part, though, it's way too much. And that's like, I am making assumptions here. I can't say that that's the case with this guy, but he is clearly like emotional. Like, just the choice of language here. It's this is like when people won't listen to you, so you overemphasize things. And it's like, you just feel so frustrated because you might be 100% right about something too. That's happened to tons of people all throughout time, right? Like, the world's round, I'm telling you. Nah, it's not. You're a nutcase. Like, it's it's happened before. But yeah, no. Before I go off on another long rant here, yeah, I'll cut this short. But that's essentially it. It's just don't allow yourself to get caught in a stupid quote like this, man, because he looks dumb now.
True. Self-awareness is key. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're trying to make a logical argument, like, to me, like, lots of encasing that argument and lots of negative, and there's not even an argument being made here, but just casing your statement in a lot of negative emotion is just a giant red flag. And it's like, okay, this person is not thinking straight. Yeah.
Won't stand a chance. This
Which
is what
is
surprised me
infuriating.
the most, and it's the entire reason I decided to make this video. I don't care about defending these people. I don't care if they're cheating or not. These clips aren't even the craziest ones that I've seen, but it's the response from most people. I've clicked on some of these profiles, and most of them, you can tell, play games. It's the fact that these gamers just don't believe something like this is even close to being humanly possible.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that people aimbot. Of course, there is plenty of cheating in video games, but to me, it's pretty clear when someone is cheating. At no point in any of these clips was Riley actually locking on to heads or any cursor movement that looked like soft aim. It's mostly just really fast target switching, having decent reflexes and mouse control. That's what you're seeing here, and it is absolutely achievable if it's something that you want to practice and get really good at. I'm actually really interested in what you guys have to say about this, because I know I do dabble in the, enthusiast FPS stuff every now and then. I've done videos on mouse acceleration and
I know I dabble, he says, when this guy is like one of the most legit hardware testers out there. Okay, so that's Optimum's video, everybody. Please go check him out. His channel is like, we were talking a lot about latency and setups and settings and equipment. Like, his entire channel is just this stuff, like just testing all this stuff. Like, back in the day, before they had like tangible ways of measuring latency in games, like, he would actually like point a high speed, like 1000 frames per second camera like at his monitor and like have a machine like press the button on his mouse, and he's like, this is how many milliseconds it took for the monitor to respond. Like, that's how he would measure end-to-end latency, and then that's how he would like grade equipment and stuff. So like, yeah, this guy's hardcore. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, or you want to learn more about that kind of stuff, it's like, please check out his channel. It's amazing. But that was kind of the recap, just kind of the intro into how all this drama began. So Riley CS posted all these clips to Twitter, and they blew up, and everyone thinks she's like cheating now. But I mean, that was weeks ago that this stuff happened. It's been like almost a month since this stuff happened. And like, it's like the hate train is getting out of control, because it's like, you would think by now, like, people would have kind of figured out that it's just like, with all these people from the aiming community coming out. Oh, that's the other thing too. So I showed you that podcast that Riley CS did with Viscos and a bunch of aimers and stuff. Mm-hmm. And
I haven't had time to look into it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's over 2 hours long, so we're not gonna listen to it on stream. But for people who are more interested in this drama, you should absolutely go and listen to this podcast, because like, it's a 2 hour long conversation where they shoot the shit and talk about all this stuff. But if you listen to this podcast, it becomes extremely obvious. Like, the aiming community, in terms of content creators, in terms of high level aimers, it's not that big. There really aren't a whole ton of people in the world who are obsessed with grinding aim trainers for hours a day and getting the snappiest, coolest looking possible. Like, it's a very small niche and subgenre of gaming creators who are like super obsessed about this kind of stuff. So it's a very small world. All these content creators in the aiming community, they all know each other. They like. So the whole point of this podcast, it's like, these people have known each other for years before any of this drama even happened. Like, they all knew each other, and they would all stream together and play games together and stuff. So that's why when this drama first came out, like, all these aimers were so quick to rally behind Riley and just be like, yeah, I 100% will bet my entire reputation and career that this person is not cheating, because I've literally made content with this person. We've played games together for like years on end. Like, you know, they stream with a camera pointed at their hand and at their mouse. Like, they're just, it's like, I'm sorry, but this, like, I have better,
that does bring something up. Is like they literally like Riley literally shows the receipts constantly, whereas Call of Shame has yet to show the receipts to any of his claims, like PhD level white paper, which is allegedly written by AI. Personally, can neither confirm nor deny. Don't really even care, because until he shows the receipts. Also, like PhD level, I mean, what does that even mean? Like, according to who? Like, did you get it like peer reviewed? Because that's what PhD means. Like,
you're getting ahead of yourself. That's what we're gonna watch next. We're gonna see all the receipts exposed on that one. But just to wrap up this point on, just
because he made some wild claims on that one.
Oh, like yes, and we are going
around at the beginning of anti-cheat and help design it and everything.
Yep,
and it's
we are going to be investigating all those claims in depth, and we will find out. I
got to switch over my laundry here in a minute before we start that. But yeah,
sure. Yeah, but people like Viscos are like, no, I have better aim than Riley CS. If Riley CS is cheating, then I'm cheating. Like, come on, like, this is ridiculous, right? And like, you go to Riley's YouTube channel, and like, all the comments are just people shitting on her and saying that you're a cheater, proven cheater, the people claiming that she's been banned. She's never been banned.
Yeah, she literally hasn't. Yeah, that's another thing too. That's super weird. Yeah,
she explains in the podcast she played the entire BF6 beta on a single account. That account was never banned. Like this like the whole drama with her clips like surrounding this whole thing was one of the biggest stories surrounding the BF6 beta. It's like, you can
means that I guess people just literally just believed Call of Shame like outright, that's the part that scares me. Is it's like, it's okay to have emotional reactions and everything like that, but guys, like you literally like, and even like for me, for example, I immediately thought Riley was cheating because it looked so sus to someone like me who has never seen that style of aiming ever really, or understood what I was looking at, right? But when someone is making incredibly lofty claims, like I am the top in my field, it's like, well, that's usually incredibly easy to verify, unless top of your field is like some type of top secret nuclear scientist or like a spy or something, you know what I mean? Like, it's usually fairly easy to verify these types of things, because that's the point of being the top of something. Like, you've won awards, you hold positions, like the records are out there usually, right? So it seems a little bit sus when someone makes claims and doesn't back them up at all. So when you have this huge mob, it makes me wonder like how many of them are just bots that he programmed. But it's like disturbingly, like, I'm seeing this more and more and more at like such an accelerated rate, where people are just so, I don't know if y'all are getting radicalized or like what it is, because like I wouldn't be surprised if I even just get a bunch of hate just for even asking that question, just being like, so what is this? Like, what makes you feel that way? And they just go, you're the enemy, fuck you. And it's like, damn, I'm sorry if the conclusions that my questions brought you to caused you to project some nonsense onto me. I'm just trying to understand, because it is very disturbing. It's like, so some guy on the internet just makes a bunch of claims, doesn't substantiate any of them. Let's even just take out the claims against Riley. It's like, yeah, what, like, back up any of this information, man? Any of it? No? Okay. It's kind of crazy how many people he was able to just like convince, though, because a bunch of people went and parroted that stuff. Like, if Riley hasn't been banned, then that's kind of wild, you know.
All right, so you're kind of jumping ahead here, but all right, yeah. Since you've brought up Call of Shame, so yes, this channel, Call of Shame, we're not going to watch any of his videos. I'm not going to click on his channel because I don't want to signal boost any of his fucking garbage. But we're gonna watch a nearly 1 hour expose on this channel here in a second, or explaining, going deep diving into who this guy is and what he's all about. But we will see what kind of credibility this guy has. But this guy is one of the main people that's just been putting out slop content, just constantly attacking Riley and claiming that they're cheating. And this person just makes all sorts of just provably false, unsubstantiated claims, such as Riley's been banned on Twitch and they appealed and the appeal's been denied. It's like, no, Riley's Twitch
Yeah,
channel.
they were streaming like 3
Riley's
days ago,
Twitch
actually,
channel
so-
is just fine. Like she was streaming earlier today. Actually, the VOD's not here for some reason,
There you
but
go.
she was definitely live earlier today. But yeah, no, it's like, and again, like this is a Call of Duty stream. Like there's a cam in the corner that you see exactly what they're doing, and they're doing the target switching clip farming playstyle that I was talking about earlier. They're just running out into the open, taking as many gun duels as possible, and the vast majority of the time, they're just, you know, like it's
Wait,
not
Laura, I think the actual
not the most
issue
impressive
is that I
gameplay.
wasn't using the F.
You know, Viscos is just hanging out in chat.
You were muffled there for a second, just so you know. It was almost like your mic got covered or something, but maybe that was on my end. I don't know.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, I'm gonna
Well,
quickly go swap over my. I'm gonna quickly go swap over my laundry. I'll be right back.
all right, go for it.
Okay, love you, babe.
Love you too. Lost my train of thought. Okay. Yeah, there's people who have been claiming that they've dug up Riley's old accounts in different games and stuff, and claiming that they've been banned and stuff. And it's just like Riley's just come out and said, it's like, no, those aren't even my accounts. Like, what are you like the actual bandwagoning and just total like hate mob that has like formed behind this whole incident. The drama is absolutely insane. So yeah, it's just gotten to ridiculous proportions. So Struth Gaming, somebody we've featured on the channel already, whose content I really enjoy. Again, another person in the aiming community. They make a lot of great content surrounding this type of stuff. But 6 days ago now, he put out an amazing expose on this Call of Shame channel. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it. And even Asmongold reacted to the Call of Shame videos and signal boosted this stuff. So yeah, it's just it's kind of crazy how much Dunning-Kruger there is behind this whole story. Like how many people who just have no expertise, no credibility, just absolutely no knowledge, or you know, just they have no ability to speak on this topic, and they're just making these very broad judgments and jumping to conclusions, and it's just totally out of pocket with zero evidence. It's just, yeah, it's getting to absurd proportions. So I think it's about time that a lot of this stuff has been set straight. So we're gonna react to this video. It's gonna elucidate a lot of this stuff. This is an old clip of Riley playing Counter-Strike that she uploaded to her channel recently.
Oh my god. Oh my.
That's amazing. Triple sky headshot. 150 pig scout god. LOL. Go follow Riley, everyone, by the way. This person deserves your support. So this is just them playing some aim trainer, and it's wild how split the community is. Battlefield Nugents bewildered by person moving mouse. So the aim community now is just fighting back by just memeing and making aimbot jokes and stuff. No way, is this the notorious 30-year-old Riley cheat software? Amazing.
I have I
FFAR with this sensitivity combo. I forgot how different it feels. Excuse me.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Help.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's do
I
it.
have recently had the displeasure of discovering the Call of Shame YouTube channel
Oops,
in the
hold
wake
on.
of the whole Riley battle.
Let me where are we at here? Where are we at? We're here? Okay, yep. I see.
I have recently had the displeasure of discovering the Call of Shame YouTube channel in the wake of the whole Riley Battlefield 6 cheating accusations. And this person or team, it doesn't really matter, are my total antithesis.
Which has led many to claim he's using an aimbot. That might be true, or it might be nothing at all.
They hide behind an AI avatar, an AI voice, AI scripts, or at least heavily assisted scripts, and worst of all is that they feign competence.
And I've also submitted as part of my PhD research for peer review. I'll keep you all updated on that process. I worked for Symantec as a threat analyst. I understand how detections work. And as for the argument that less skilled players can't spot aimbots, let me be clear. I've won countless ladders in old school Call of Duty competing on game battles, earning thousands of dollars competing back on the Xbox 360. I played for the best team in the world. I've been there, I've done it, and I know exactly what cheating looks like. So from someone who is an expert in anti-cheat technology, and also from a retired professional Call of Duty player, let me be clear.
They laugh about being a pro-level gamer, cybersecurity expert, developer. They pretend to be some righteous bastion against cheating and foul play, when they themselves ran a stream sniping and very likely cheat-driven alt account called Supergirl. More on that hypocrisy later.
Hope. That when faced with an enemy, determined to destroy your spirit, you will fight back and thrive.
There are many parallels to Pirate Software and how he built an audience off of being this insightful authority, but in this case it's a lot sadder and a lot lazier. And what's funny about this comparison is that I personally bought into Pirate Software's content when it was blowing up on YouTube Shorts.
Same.
And that's because he was talking about things I wasn't knowledgeable about. But the big difference here is
Shut up, Pirate Software.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I fell for it too, and I was a little bummed out when he turned out to be a complete fraud because he has a lot of solid advice just in terms of like social aspects, but it turned out that he doesn't follow any of it, and he is extremely fraudulent. Like I was like, as that drama kept unfolding, I was like, some of it is pretty unsubstantiated, admittedly. Like we can't prove it either way, and some of the people involved seem to have ulterior motives, but that doesn't change the fact that the stuff that is absolutely substantiated is wild. It's so crazy how much of a phony he is. It's so nuts, dude. Like holy shit. Not just contradicting himself, but just like there's literally, I mean, I guess I should say allegedly because I don't play Eve, but there's literally an Eve like clan or whatever corporation out there that has like an emote for in their like a special emote in their like forums and stuff that literally says fuck door.
It's Maldavius. Yeah, I mean he was.
Maldavius. Fuck Maldavius. Yeah, that's what it was. Shit blew my mind. I was like,
We
yo.
we need to react to that one on stream at some point in time. But
Yeah, because it's
he was
wild,
yeah,
dude.
it was wild that he tried to spread lies about EVE Online when he was but when he played EVE Online, he was like, yeah, like you said, the leader of a corporation and a member of the Council of Stellar Management, which is a player elected body. They have actual elections and votes. Like the players choose these people to be liaisons between the player base and the developer. And like, it's an extremely serious position because not only are there elections and you're like elected to that position, like before COVID, it used to be that like you had to physically fly to Reykjavik to the developer's headquarters like at least twice a year for in-person meetings and stuff. Like that's how serious the job was. So like that's how much of like a pillar of the community he used to be when he played the game. So it's actually outrageous that like, 10 years removed from that, he thinks he can, like, now that he's this like big content creator, like clout goblin who's like chasing fucking views, that he thinks that he can just spread all these lies about his time in the game, where it's just like, no, you were a very public facing member of that community. What makes you think that you can just rewrite history like that? People still remember who you are and what you did. It's so wild. But yeah, that's another topic for another
It is
day.
fucking hilarious, dude.
is that Call of Shame's content overlaps with my particular area of expertise, which is aiming. There would be very few people on the planet more knowledgeable about aiming in FPS games than me. And that's because it has been my job in one form or another for the past 9 years to learn everything there is to know about this topic.
For what it's worth, I played a season of competitive Paladins for Equinox Esports. I worked at Kovacs Aim Trainer in a variety of roles for over 5 years. Funnily enough, one of my duties early on was flagging, investigating, and banning cheaters. And by the way, if you want an insight into the mind of a cheater, check this out. I found an old Discord message of mine. A cheated score in Kovacs had his Twitter handle in the name. This was one of his tweets. Just found out the money I sent to Elon Musk wasn't actually him. It was hackers, and now they have my $400 and obviously won't return it. I mean, come on, how good is that? Mainly though, I was a content creator and games physics analyst, and in recent years I've been working on my own channel, primarily creating educational aiming content. I also created my own aiming mouse mod, the Clawmate, my own gaming sleeve, and my own flashcard aim training game on Steam called Polyglock. All of that to say that I know a ridiculous amount about this niche topic. So when someone like Call of Shame comes along and pretends to be an authority on what cheating on mouse and keyboard looks like, it instantly sets off alarm bells. And I think what irks me the most is how careless he is about it. There are innumerable contradictions, falsehoods, mistakes, deception, and flat out lies that I'll be addressing. First, let me establish that I am not defending cheaters in any way. I think it's absolutely disgusting and a huge character flaw. If you are an adult or even a late teen and you cheat in video games, you are—
Oh no. Are you aware about this drama? I forget who this streamer is called, but
I don't
defending
recognize
cheaters
it.
in any way. I think it's absolutely disgusting.
they streamed with their map hacks, with their wall hacks on. Like, look at the HUD, like look at the little markers where the players are all through the wall. Yeah, they streamed. This is the raw footage of the stream. They streamed with it on and then like played for like 10-15 minutes, like didn't even notice or realize that their cheats were just like going live out on stream, and then they noticed they just like immediately went offline, and it's just like it was the most hilarious thing ever. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's surprising. I won't say it's like common in sense of like, it's not common in the sense of like how many like streamers there are out there. I won't say that. Like, it's out of the percentage or the whole pool of people who stream first person shooters is probably not that common, but this happens a lot. Like, I don't think a week goes by that there isn't somebody who does some dumb shit like this.
And a huge character flaw. If you are an adult or even a late teen and you cheat in video games, you are a bad person.
I also
like, fundamental.
What's going on here? Why want to pause? That was weird. I also agree. I don't want to say it's like you are a bad person, like across the board or whatever, but there's something wrong with you. That's a form of mental illness. Because it's just strange to me, you know. It's I can almost understand it a little more if you're like making money off this or something like that. But even then, it's like, dude, I mean, that's you're a thief then, basically. You know what I mean? Like, so you're a snake oil salesman at that point. It's not like you're a highway robber or a burglar or whatever, but you're still like deceiving people and you're wasting their time. In a way, you're stealing their time because they're like watching you. You know, they're supporting you, and you can't. These types of things can't exist without support. They're not sustainable. Like, there's no, until you get sponsors. But if you get sponsors off cheating, it's like the same thing, right? It's like taking steroids, dude, you know. Personally, I think I'd like to see more leagues out there that allow steroids, just to see the difference in performance, like openly, so we can know for sure how much of an advantage it's giving people. But with cheats though, with wall hacks and stuff, that's a tough one. Are you just gonna have wall hack leagues? I mean, you would like just take the walls out of the game then. You know what I mean? Kind of changes everything. So yeah, it's just weird. There's something, you're a liar, dude. And oftentimes when I've like encountered liars in my own life, especially when they like try to gaslight you and stuff, one of the responses that they'll give you is like, well, everybody lies. It's like, yeah, but bro, they feel bad about it. They try not to lie. Like, people lie because they're humiliated or they're in a dangerous situation, right? Like, they might lie to get themselves out of a situation that they should never have been in to begin with. But lying to get ahead, these kind of things, there's something wrong. Like, your ego, your temptation is taking advantage of you, and it's making you push yourself, right? Because yeah, and these kind of lies, these aren't embellishments either. These aren't like someone being like, oh yeah, I lift 220 on the bench when they really lift 190 or 180 or something like that. Like, that's an embellishment. They can definitely lift a lot, but then they're lying, saying it's more, maybe trying to impress someone. Not a good idea. You're going to get yourself into a situation where you have to back that up. But this is straight up like someone being like, yeah, I lift 220, and then you find out that the weights are fake and they don't lift anything. That's what this is. This is like serious deceit, dude. Like this is not. This is. Yeah, this ain't good. It's like this is mental illness. Anyway, I'm just because I feel bad for people like this. I do. There's something wrong. You're trying to get praise. It's all a fantasy to you. Like, what are your friendships like? What are your relationships like? Like, is it you're just projecting a fantasy onto people? I mean, I've dated girls like that, man. It doesn't feel good. You'll try to tell them something about yourself, open up, and they're like, no, I know you better than you know you. It's like, honey, we've been dating for 3 weeks. I've been around you 4 times. What do you mean you know me better? It's creepy. It's just weird. It's like, and that's what this reminds me of. I know that's a stretch, right? But it's like, why are you like, what do you get out of this? Unless you have sponsors and you're cheating, in which case you're a thief, and that's has its own reprehensible like connotations to it. That's morally wrong. But at least you're doing it for money. I don't know what to say. Like, if you're just doing this just for clout, there's something really that's there's something way deeper going on there. And I know a lot of people try to be like, it's not that deep, everybody lies, but like, beware those people. They're gaslighting you. You don't want to be around them. You're going to find yourself in situations you don't want to be in. Take it from someone who used to be at best, we'll call it a ne'er-do-well. Like, just don't be around these people. But yeah, he's right. It's I don't want to say they're intrinsically a bad person, that they can't fix themselves, they can't work on themselves, but there's something really unhealthy. You've got a weird addiction if this is what you're doing.
Don't underestimate what goblins will do for clout.
No, that's 100% true.
You have a mental illness. It's called clout goblinitis.
There is something wrong with you and I want nothing to do with you. My content is about improving and reaching your potential in gaming and aiming, and cheating completely circumvents that journey. It is not in my interest at all to defend cheaters. I even found some old messages on Discord like, imagine raising a kid for 20 years and they end up cheating in video games. Millions of years of evolution has resulted in some people cheating in video games. So to circle back a bit, I had become baffled at why this AI slop channel was getting so many views and so many supportive comments. So I had to ask myself, what are they selling? What are people getting out of watching these videos? Because it must be very strong to allow people to forgive the AI voice.
Let's watch again. This time we will slow it down.
Cringe AI intro.
And thank you.
These cheaters have been punished
so
by
bad.
the men and women from Ricochet. All streamers are guilty until proven innocent.
AI country music.
My PC is clean, boys. Everything's fine here, nothing to see. No aimbot, walls, radar, cheat key.
And general weirdness of the presentation. And the answer is primarily Schadenfreude. I hope I pronounced that well. Defined as pleasure derived by someone from another person's misfortune. It can be deeply satisfying to see people get accused of cheating. And I totally get that. I mean, look at this message I sent back in 2018. Cheaters getting exposed is actually like heroin to me. I mean, it doesn't get much more powerful than comparing this sort of content to heroin. And on a sadder level, I think part of what makes this content popular is that it protects and inflates people's ego. This comment below one of his videos sums it up really well. This is very impressive, Call of Shame. It's just sad that someone who loved Call of Duty had to rise up and open everyone's eyes about cheating streamers. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I had thoughts at times watching streamers. How come they shoot so straight all the time? It convinced me I was terrible, which I would say I'm not, but watching them made me think that. Everything they do was perfectly timed. Rotation, when to challenge, when to head glitch, and
Oh, what a self-report, this comment. But it's just why...
That's part of what I'm saying though, is like, dude, why are you even comparing yourself to them? These are pros. Why are you even doing that? You know what I mean? Like, if I mowed lawns for a living, I absolutely loved it. So then I would go home, and I'd play video games and stuff like that. My video games were my hobby. I would like to see any of these weak, limp-wristed streamers try to come and do what I did, like shovel shit and stuff like that. I guarantee you I'm better at that. You know what I mean? I guarantee you the lines on the lawn that I mowed were way better. I took pride in it. I enjoyed it. I loved being out in the sun and stuff like that. I love being able to lift heavy things, move them around. I love being able to like do a quick fix on a lawnmower, line trimmer, whatever, all that stuff. It gave me pleasure. Like, I'd love to see these guys even try to climb a tree like I could at 200 pounds, all muscle. You know what I mean? Like, nah, like why are you comparing? It's just a hobby. You know what I mean? It's like those guys, in Canada here, we got a lot of like pickup hockey games. We'll go out play road hockey. Some guys even rent out ice rinks and play like once a week. And there's always a guy on the team that's like trying to compare themselves to the NHL players. And we're just like, dog, you're not even semi-pro. Like you're not, dude. You're overweight. Like you're never going to be that. Like, and I'm not trying to hate on you, but like stop projecting it onto the rest of the team. Even if you're the best player on the team, my guy, like go pro then. We're here to have fun. Half of us are drunk when we play this game. Like, what do you mean? Like, So it's just like, what? Don't compare yourself to people like that. It's extremely unhealthy. Compare yourself to yourself, people in your lane, learn from people like that. Learn from people that are better than you. Don't compare. It's like, I do judo. I'm not comparing myself to Olympic judoka, bro. It's not, the smallest weight class would fold me up, fold my clothes while I'm still in them. No, it's not. This is unhealthy. Don't do this. Listen to this comment. Oh my God.
True. It's just so wild how this whole channel is fake. Everything about it is literally every aspect of it was made with AI. It's just it's crazy that people get fooled by this AI slob. It's like all the graphics are AI, the voice is AI. It's like the white paper is AI. It's just all AI. It's so bad. The AI apocalypse is here.
I really can't stand the AI voices. Like it's so prevalent that I'm like looking forward to when the AI voices are good. Because like there's something about like the monotoneness of them, and even when they do have a little bit of inflection, they break my brain. Like I literally like I feel like something. It's not like a headache, but it feels like there's like swamp water pooling in the front of my forehead. Like it's just so bad. I can't. I don't know if that's because I'm getting old, but it's so hard to listen to. It just messes me up.
Always perfectly timed pushes to team wipe. It didn't make sense to me, but I'm glad you're around, Call of Shame. I appreciate everything you do, love heart. In other words, streamer play good, me not that good, so me feel bad. But you tell me streamer is cheating, so me actually good all along. Now I feel better. Thank you, Call of Shame.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this bit. It convinced me I was terrible, which I would say I'm not. Watching streamers play really well damages their ego, so they come to Call of Shame's videos to feel better about themselves. The need to protect one's ego is a strong enough motivator to ignore the red flags.
And even published a peer-reviewed PhD-level white paper on computer vision-based cheat detection.
When Call of Shame says that they've written a PhD level white paper on their own anti-cheat software, that they were on the best COD team in the world, that establishes them as an authority. So now the viewer can sit back, relax, and hear whatever they want to hear. So while I have no problem with calling out cheaters and personally have a track record of enjoying that sort of content, what's different here is that Call of Shame, either through gross incompetence or malicious deception, frequently presents accusations without compelling evidence. If you are going to accuse someone of cheating, you need to be damn sure you're right, because what you're really asking is for them to be deplatformed and barred from playing these games. For many of these people, that's a career ender. That's a big deal, and I don't care if you have something against streamers or content creators. You shouldn't be wishing for someone to lose their livelihood and their reputation unless the evidence is damning. And let me tell you right now, the evidence presented in Call of Shame's videos, especially since this Battlefield 6 drama, is far from that. I'll get into that in more detail later on, as it's been covered ad nauseum at this point. You basically have aimers and pro FPS players in one corner saying this aim is legit, and then you have some controller players who simply aren't familiar with what's possible, and assorted personality streamers who aren't actually good at gaming saying it's cheating. There's an information gap that no amount of analysis of clips seems to be able to bridge, so instead I want to look into who Call of Shame is, investigate their claims, and see how much of an authority they really are.
The tech,
this is it. This is the
Tectone and Asmongold shout out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Which is 100% accurate. Now, I mean, I don't, I've seen Asmongold make a ton of errors that I was making as well, right? Like when the whole pirate software shit first kicked off, I was like, yeah, but there's a ton of people that have been out to get him for a while. Asmongold pretty much said the same thing. He's like, yeah, some of this is pretty damning. But
yeah, and I mentioned Asmongold while you were
as it kept going, I was like, I'm very wrong about this. I'm so wrong about this guy. Like, he fooled the fuck out of me. Now, part of it's because I guess I wasn't that invested. I mean, you're the first Twitch streamer I've ever followed. I'm just too old for Twitch. Like, I would never have been able to get into it if it wasn't for you. And with that being said, though, like it was Pirate Software Shorts. That's what I was following because it was so positive. And so, you know, I was like a bit removed. Like I didn't see any of the egregious shit, but oh my Lord, was I wrong about that guy. And yeah, probably wrong about Riley CS too. There's been other things as well. And Asmongold too, like it's so funny watching him during the Battlefield 6 beta and being like, yo, there's actually someone that I'm better at Battlefield than. And he's got like the killer setup and everything, you know what I mean? And I got this like basic ass computer and Igloo internet from Canada. And I'm fucking better than Asmongold. That was fun.
Spoiler alert, the findings are hilarious. What better place to start than their favorite go-to justification for their conclusions, which is their PhD level white paper.
No, I've submitted a white paper for peer review on computer vision cheating.
That they apparently submitted for peer review. I mean, to who? Which journal? No one who has spent even a day in higher education would give it a second glance. You can go to Google Scholar and type in computer vision cheating video games and look at actual peer-reviewed research on the topic. Now, I haven't personally read through them all, but just take a look at the difference in formatting and detail. It is a night and day difference when compared to Call of Shame's PhD level white paper. And for what it's worth, I completed 2 degrees at university, one for business and the other for psychological science. Not that I use them anymore, but I at least went through higher education and know what I'm looking at here. And interestingly enough, I was actually referenced in Nvidia's published research on mouse sensitivity, which is kinda cool. I invite you to read through this white paper yourself if you want the full experience. I'm just going to point out the most interesting and egregious parts to save us some time. And by the way, this is undoubtedly AI generated, and not only that, he has asked his AI to make it as verbose as possible. I assume this is because it's in his best interest for curious viewers to not understand what he's talking about, because if they did, they would realize how nonsensical this paper is. Instead, all he cares about is appearing intelligent and informed.
Okay, another Pirate Software link here. Remember we were talking about how Pirate Software makes his code needlessly complex? Like,
yes.
Where anybody who actually knows anything about coding would take one look at the code and just be like, this was coded by an idiot, because it's just like there's absolutely
it makes people like me think like, wow, this guy must be a genius.
Exactly. It's so that beginner coders will look at his code and like not understand what they're not be able to parse what they're looking at, so that they will think that he's a better coder than he actually is. This white paper is the exact same thing. It's just, not only is it AI generated, like he told the AI, it's like, okay, make it as wordy as use as much unnecessary vocabulary as possible, so that a layman can't fucking understand what they're looking at. It's just like, oh my goodness, that's just so like maliciously deceptive. It's just fucking wild.
The gist of his
I almost
AI
respect it almost.
Vision.
Like it's hustle. Like this is what I mean. Like this guy has a financial motivation to do this, and he's doing it efficiently because he's using AI. He has so much there's so much overhead that this guy can make because he doesn't have to spend any time doing any of it himself. Although he read through it, I don't know.
Let's see, hold on. We're not even 10 minutes through the video, and it's like already plainly obvious that Call of Shame is just a total clickbait channel. Like it's the highest form of just slop AI content that's just, they're just trying to farm clicks off of YouTube, like with just the most low effort content possible. It's actually disgusting.
Anti-cheat is that it measures aim randomness, which he refers to as entropy. The idea being that real human aim has inconsistencies and randomness, while tool-assisted aiming is too precise and consistent. So by measuring this randomness, the AI anti-cheat can determine who is cheating and who is legitimate. In theory, the reality is very different. This section is rather baffling, and it's something he constantly refers to throughout the paper. Complementary modules track snap events, rapid angular velocity changes exceeding human physiological limits of 500 degrees per second. This makes absolutely no sense to phrase it this way. What he's saying is that essentially his tool tracks when the crosshair moves really fast, and it makes sense to track events like that as one of your data points. It's not an indication of cheating by any means, but it's a good place to start looking. What's crazy about this is how he frames it as a 500 degree per second human physiological limit. First of all, I couldn't find any literature referencing this value, and he doesn't describe how it's measured either. For mouse and keyboard, I suppose it might be this wrist and or arm action, but almost all of his content is based off of controller aiming. So is it how fast you can move your thumb? He doesn't define or elaborate on this anywhere, so who really knows? But that's not all. This number means literally nothing without knowing the mouse sensitivity, mouse DPI, and field of view the footage is played on. And these are values he does not possess. Someone playing on 1 cm per 360 can move 100 times more degrees per second than someone on 100 centimeters per 360. And that's what's so frustrating about this guy. If he simply defined some value that indicated when a flick or snap happened, while also not being slow enough to trigger through non-flick or non-snap behavior, that would be totally fine.
I'll show you how deep the aiming rabbit hole goes.
It makes sense to track something like that. What doesn't make any sense is tying it to this made up, impossible to measure human physiological limit. The only reason for doing that is to try to sound smart. Weighted entropy, higher penalties for head-leg extremes, derived from information theory and biomechanics literature. I mean, it sure would be nice if he had an actual reference for this, like what biomechanics literature? Where does this 500 degrees per second come from? And here he mentions flagging deviations over 45 degrees. I assume this means if the crosshair moves over 45 degrees within a certain time frame, that event gets flagged. Sure, I'm happy enough with that. But this 100 pixel inward deltas line is what stands out to me, because I'm fairly sure this is almost entirely responsible for determining the outcomes of his case studies, where he applies the tool to gameplay footage and decides whether they're cheating or not. All the talk about entropy and whatnot doesn't seem to work at all as intended for many reasons which I'll get to soon. The 100 pixel inward delta, on the other hand, I believe is referring to events where the crosshair is already on or near the bounding box of the target, then shifts at least 100 pixels within a short time frame. I could be wrong on that, and honestly, it wouldn't be my fault either. He doesn't put any effort into defining these parameters, so all I can do is infer his meaning and cross-reference it with how his tool behaves during the case studies. Achieving 95% plus detection on synthetic and real-world cheats, I sure would love to see the data reporting this, but of course it's not provided anywhere. Who knows if these 500 matches even exist, whether this is fabricated, or even how a successful detection is measured. It's insane that he can tweak this tool however he likes, determine what counts as cheating or not, apply it to these mystery datasets, and then give himself a 98% detection rate with under 0.5% false positives. How can he possibly know that? And if that really was true, why not provide that incredible data? And to then compare it to Vanguard, implying that his tool is somehow superior, all based off fabricated data, like it's just insane. And get a load of this sentence. This white paper elucidates the theoretical foundations, architectural details, mathematical derivations, blah blah blah. And then we have him typing like this in YouTube comments. Thank you, no space. So much, mate. You're wrong, you're too kind. I appreciate, random capital letter. It's so much. So kind of you, Jared. Yep, you're wrong, you're right though. Missing the UGH. Dead on. It's indisputable, but simps will simp with ought. With dash ought questioning anything, like how do you mess that one up so badly? There's no blaming autocorrect for that. Same guy, by the way. I suppose he could argue that it was someone else on the team responding, but honestly, who really cares? Everything they do is AI generated, and the only human element you occasionally see is this garbage English in replies. Then he points you to his website offering prototypes, datasets, and collaborations, but who would have guessed it? None of the links do anything. It's all just one page with no actual information. You want to download that example report? Well, tough luck. The best we can do is send you back to the top of the page. Empirical motivation, who talks like that? From datasets showing cheats reduce aim entropy by 40 to 60% compared to pros. Where are the datasets? That legitimately sounds very interesting and is something I would like to know more about. But this data doesn't exist, and he hasn't made any indication as to whether this is for controller or mouse and keyboard, which is a huge distinction. Just boring market stuff. So here he's talking about different ways to cheat, and this sort of stuff is disgusting, and it's annoying that it even exists. I do think this gives us a decent indication of what this AI anti-cheat is apparently built for, and that's for detecting cheats on console, either through using a controller or a mouse and keyboard via Zim, and making use of the aim assist that way. Still no mention of mouse and keyboard on PC. You may want to take a deep breath before this next part, it is painful. Zim adapters, $150, enable mouse, keyboard on consoles while retaining rotational aim assist, blending precision, mouse DPI over 10,000. So I'm assuming the AI has spat this out referring to high DPI, technically offering more granularity and precision, but in reality almost everyone competitive plays on something between 400 and 1600 DPI. Over 10,000 is so unbelievably impractical. I think the word precision has been conflated by Call of Shame to mean in-game accuracy, which is not what the AI intended. Okay, with console magnetism up to 50% target adhesion, yielding hybrid velocities exceeding human limits over 700 degrees per second sustained. Yielding hybrid velocities exceeding human limits over 700 degrees a second sustained. Come on. I'm assuming this is meant to mean that using Zim can let you track enemies much faster than on a standard controller. Even if you believe this nonsense actually means anything, you have to at least concede that Call of Shame is a terrible communicator. No one talks like this, not even he does. He's trying his hardest to make this topic as complicated as possible, to obfuscate the real meaning behind what's written so people don't look too deep. Because there's nothing there. It's all a facade and a flimsy shield he uses to look smarter than he actually is. These devices are prevalent in crossplay environments, with Reddit/X analyses estimating 50 to 75% usage in high-ranked console lobbies. Please provide a link to this analysis. It's bad enough citing Reddit/X as your data for this. And before anyone gets the bright idea of calling me out for hypocrisy of having Nvidia reference my Reddit thread in their research, if you actually read through it, they don't use it to prove anything or use it as data. This is what they said. The competitive gaming community considers mouse sensitivity a significant factor of player performance in targeting tasks, which is fair enough if you read through the thread and the comments. There's a big difference between that and citing Reddit/X analysis without an actual link or reference. And once again, he refers to biomechanics, and this time biomechanics studies. Surely there's a reference for that one. Nope, none of these are a biomechanics study. But while we're here, let's look at this hilarious excuse for a reference list. New AI classifier for indicating AI written text. Why on earth is that referenced? What a massive self-report. An AI generated paper on a computer vision AI anti-cheat referencing something about AI written text that was never mentioned anywhere in the paper. There is no way called—
Oh, what a self-report.
That's rough. That's rough.
What the fuck?
Call of Shame put that there himself, right? Like, it's so stupid. I have no evidence for this, but I'm guessing he asked questions about how to hide his text being AI generated or something of that nature, and when he asked for it to make a reference list, these old prompts influenced the outcome. I don't know, either way, it's hilarious and embarrassing. There are some actual journal articles that were never mentioned or referenced in the actual paper, by the way, and reference 19 and 25 are the exact same. My bet is that he asked his AI to generate something like 5 more references without any duplicates, but it duplicated one anyway because AI loves to make mistakes like that and he simply never noticed. Alright, where were we? And I think I may need to be a little more selective over what I point out from now on or we'll be here forever. Here we have a new value of a human max of 200 degrees per second sustained, a value picked from thin air with no justification or explanation to how it was measured or where it came from. This is just speed equals distance over time, acceleration, change in velocity over change in time. Sure, I'll be honest, I don't know exactly what's going on here. I'll try my best. N is probably the number of frames, and we have velocity and average, and then it's checking if it's below some threshold value. And straight up, if someone watching this knows what this means without looking it up, kudos to you because it means absolutely nothing to me and I'm not ashamed to admit that. Okay, so I asked Call of Shame's best friend ChatGPT and apparently this measures if your aim has jitters above a certain threshold, with the implication being that soft aim hacks smooth out those jitters, and on the surface that sounds logical, but in reality this seems like a huge mistake. Earlier I missed this section here about this natural human tremor of 8 to 12 hertz, which is a real thing by the way. I think the idea of measuring jitteriness in mouse movements is sound, and if your anti-cheat had access to actual frame-by-frame telemetry data, this would probably work quite well, and is probably something existing anti-cheats do already. The glaring issue here is that he's using computer vision at 30 frames per second, There is far too much missing information between frames to be measuring something as precise as hand tremor. And on top of that, it makes sense for mouse and keyboard, but doesn't make sense for controller. Aim assist will smooth out that tremor, and that's if there's any measurable tremor left after moving a tensioned thumbstick. I'm not really sure what the purpose of this is beyond trying to keep up that facade of complexity. This is just an expression of how that math looks in pseudocode. I can see that acceleration is defined but then never actually used. There's probably other issues too, but Call of Shame didn't care enough to explain what this is or how it's used in the anti-cheat, so I'm not going to spend any more time deciphering it. I would love to know where these 300 clips come from. Where do you even get 100 soft aim clips and 100 Cronus clips? And what constitutes a clip? Is that one fight, one whole match, a different person each time? It would be
Bro, that's the other giant red flag behind the Guardian True Sight anti-cheat in the whole Call of Shame channel that just like fucking outs the whole thing as a fraud. So the way a real anti-cheat works is that it's integrated into the game to the point where things are getting so invasive that we have kernel level anti-cheats. But what it's doing is it's not just analyzing the video footage of what's happening in the game. It's also reading the game data code. It's pulling telemetry from your game. So it's like understanding things like frames per second that your game is running at. It's reading actual like the engine that is reading the inputs from your game. It's sending that information to the developer server side so that the anti-cheat can analyze all that information. Like it's pulling such massive amounts of data, like to the point where these are like all proprietary technologies that are black boxes. Like we don't even know necessarily what these anti-cheats are looking at, right? Like that's the whole part of the cat and mouse game that makes it so that like cheat makers can't just get away with things. Like we don't necessarily understand how these anti-cheats even totally work. The thing is, that's not what Call of Shame's so quote unquote Guardian True Sight anti-cheat is doing at all. Like Call of Shame literally just takes clips of stream footage from people's live streams and their VODs on YouTube and stuff. He just feeds that video information to his so-called anti-cheat, and then he makes a video on his channel saying, "Oh, my AI anti-cheat analyzed this person's gameplay." It's like, analyze the video of their gameplay. It's like, bro, the amount of data you would just be able to get from just a raw VOD of someone's gameplay that was recorded in OBS versus an actual real anti-cheat that's integrated into a game and that's pulling all kinds of data behind the scenes that like we don't even know what kind of data it's reading. It's all proprietary. Like those are two completely different things. That's like two completely different universes. That's like,
that's a really good point.
Yeah, that's like the difference between like a Ferrari and like a model car or something. You know what I mean? It's just like it's like totally. It's like this is an apples to oranges comparison. These are two totally different things. Like you can't even compare these two things. It's just like that's just another dead giveaway that this is total horseshit. This AI anti-cheat is just total bullshit. Like this is just clickbaiting for content. Like none of this is real. Yeah, none of this is real. It's so fucked.
Okay, let me give me like 5 minutes here to go get my laundry out of the dryer, and then we'll continue.
All right, go for it.
Okay, be right back.
Mini. How'd I improvise for 5, Mini? Well, let's watch a bit more Riley while we're at it.
It's annoying because I have to change my sense if I want to use another gun now. Yeah.
Bro, I ain't got improv skills like that.
Okay, it was the gun. Yeah. Jenny likes bullet because she has the Essex. That's true. The people at my RuneScape crab are arguing about whether or not someone is botting.
The other way you can tell that this is like just the amount of hate that this person is getting is just totally unjustified is, there are people out there like Viscos or 10Z who have Look, I'm not saying Riley has bad aim. Riley has way better aim than me, okay? But people like someone like Viscos or someone like 10Z just has objectively better aim than someone like Riley. Where's all the hate accusing Viscos and 10Z of hacking? You know, it's just it's totally outrageous.
I've had some evil people at the Gemstone Crab. I usually see them posting about like conspiracy theories. It's awesome. I love RuneScape. Don't even need your newspaper to learn world politics. All you need is shooting stars or gem crab. Like, actually, though. Whoa, kill that guy. At me. Do you get recognized in RuneScape? It's happened twice. But I normally don't type, so people don't, like, see my name. But it has happened twice. Wait, Laura, were you here?
I just remembered. I have not logged into Eve today. Might as well do that real quick. Update my spreadsheets. Why? Oh, interesting. Wasn't sure if I had set this up or not. Cool.
Connecting.
.9. Not bad, not bad.
Connecting. Skill training completed.
Oop, I have returned, but I think I had to throw some stuff back in for like 20 minutes, so around 10 I'll go out. Maybe after this video's over, something like that.
Sure.
Hello? Oh, okay. But yeah.
Sounds good.
Really useful if these things were defined. What is this? Like, what does this mean? Why is it sitting on an island by itself with no explanation? Now we've got something calibrated on 1,000 matches. Where are they? Are they different to the 500 from earlier? Or is it a different 300? Who knows? I love this image. It goes from the most verbose and unnecessary language to this. Human aim squiggly, cheats not squiggly, and also velocity closed bracket. And what do we have here? Detecting subtle slowdowns, e.g. artificial aim, detects subtle slowdown, e.g. artificial aim. So one is detecting and one is detects. I'm hoping this image isn't to scale because the buffer zone is tiny and a crosshair is going to be spending almost no time within it or even skipping it entirely between frames. This red zone isn't defined, so who knows what that's supposed to mean. Oh, I love this bit. Guardian True Sight has the highest detection rate and lowest false positive rate, better than every other major anti-cheat out there. Amazing. And what's funny about this graph is that it doesn't match the numbers provided above, and I couldn't find any public information on Vanguard's detection rates or ricochets, and yet here we have numbers. And yes, I see the word implied here, but without a reference or some explanation of how those numbers came to be, it means nothing.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest red flag in the entire fucking video. He compares the so-called success rates and false positive rates of his anti-cheat to every other anti-cheat on the market. The problem is the anti-cheats that are on the market, the developers don't release that data publicly. That's not publicly available information. Where are you getting this data from, bro? How are you comparing your anti-cheat to theirs when that's all proprietary information that's kept behind closed doors? That's not information you have access to, buddy. You can't pretend like you know that shit. It's not possible. Oh goodness.
That's not good. That's problematic.
Pretty damning right there.
I did see that EA's Javelin does boast a 99% success rate, yet despite that, it's lined up at about 90%. Shouldn't it be way up here? And Ricochet's implied 90 to 95% is actually represented as about 85%. The layers upon layers of disingenuity and deception are simply remarkable. He had to type in the values to create this graph. There is no mistake. He repeatedly chose to misrepresent the data and even present data that doesn't exist to make his own anti-cheat look better. And let's not forget that he is the sole arbiter determining whether it works or not. He quite literally is able to choose the detection rates and false positive rates for his Guardian True Sight, because he controls all of the parameters, what constitutes cheating or not, and all based off clips that may or may not even exist. This part is rather strange. Under integration and deployment, he mentions using real-time APIs. Now, typically, I would have to imagine this is referring to in-game telemetry data, which would actually be useful for detecting cheats, yet nowhere in this paper has this ever been mentioned before. The entire tool works off of computer vision, not telemetry. It doesn't have access to any of that information. Perhaps he's implying he would use that information if it was integrated, but without specifying even a single time how he would do it or what it would look like, I'm more inclined to believe this is the AI who wrote it using industry relevant language for how an anti-cheat could be integrated. I don't really understand how blind testing protocols apply here. Isn't he just feeding clips into the anti-cheat and recording the results? It's not like the tool knows what it's doing or is being influenced by the knowledge of whether the clip is genuine or cheated. It simply does what it's told to do. And nothing in the paper so far has provided any indication that he is using machine learning or anything of that nature. He enters the parameters that the anti-cheat uses. The anti-cheat doesn't change those on the fly or learn or anything like that. Once again, this is more fluff used to appear intelligent when in reality it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Blind testing a static anti-cheat tool, like what a joke. Oh, this is good. Check this out. Another promising avenue.
Yeah, blind testing, for like, that's a reference to like double blind testing, which again, like would have absolutely no application here. It's a computer. It's not influenced by placebo effect. It's just oh my goodness.
Is the application of voice and communication anomaly detection, leveraging natural language processing and voice signature analysis to identify collusion, stream sniping, or covert coordination between cheaters. So you'd essentially be listening for people admitting to cheating over in-game comms? I don't really know what analysis to apply to this idea. It's just so stupid and impractical. And get a load of this. It reduces fraud risks by 90% plus in simulations. I love how he just throws out these random numbers with no explanation. What does fraud risk mean? Is that simply a different way to say cheating? And what simulations? How are they run? What were the parameters? Well, I can tell you now, that data doesn't exist. This 90% plus figure is simply pulled from thin air. And here we have what is perhaps the most needlessly verbose combination of words in the entire paper. Its excellence manifests most profoundly in hybrid deployments. I know he thinks this makes him look smart, when in reality, smart people don't talk like this. It's an extremely inefficient way to deliver information. Okay, and now for my favorite part, which is the official Guardian TrueSight YouTube channel that hosts his case studies. Dead link, by the way. Here he says that in several documented instances, players flagged by his tool were subsequently banned or shadow banned by official anti-cheats. He has 614 videos on his main channel and 36 on his TrueSight channel, not including the ones he has removed. I would sure hope that at least a few people he accused of cheating were actually cheating. What's remarkable here is that he says in several documented instances. Well, where are they? What are your examples? That seems like great proof to provide, so why not provide it? I know in his recent videos, he loves to claim that certain cheaters have been permanently banned, but they're still streaming now, so that's obviously not the case. Is that one of the documented instances? We will never know. It was his job to share that information here, but he doesn't. Equally important, GTS demonstrates its precision and fairness by exonerating individuals who have been the subject of unfounded community suspicion. What an unbelievable thing for him to say. The guy who accuses everyone and their dog of cheating, quite literally creating unfounded community suspicion, also happens to create this amazing tool that exonerates people from this type of unfounded scrutiny. Oh my god, we made it. This paper was an absolute joke. To call it PhD level is hilarious. To say that it's been submitted for peer review is a bigger joke, but you know what? Saying these things over and over in his videos works. Check out this comment from one of his defenders. Struth from the future here. So the tweet I was going to read out has actually been deleted since I scripted and have now gone to edit the video. So instead, I found a very similar one under an Asmongold video. So made a peer-reviewed white paper, has decades in anti-cheat, worked on semantics, blah, 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 blah. What I'm getting at here is that he says, made a peer-reviewed white paper. It is not peer-reviewed, but people seem to believe that. Not only do people believe it's PhD,
The gaslighting will continue.
Disturbs me.
Yeah, the gaslighting will continue until morale improves. What the fuck? Oh my god, this is insane.
level, they also believe it's now peer-reviewed, which it absolutely is not. The context for that reply is that GamerDoc, an actual anti-cheat developer for Riot, was calling out Call of Shame. What the heck is Call of Shame smoking? AI anti-cheat analyzing footage? What in the world is my guy saying in this video? LOL. Man, why do people fall for these LARP tubers and actually credit them like they know anything? This is insane. There's another great thread after that, which is longer, so I won't read it out, but it's worth taking a look yourself if you haven't seen it already. And for good measure, let's do a quick M-count. I don't actually know how to type it, so let's copy one. 20 M-dashes. Nice. Now that we're done with that travesty of a paper, let's look at how the Guardian TrueSight AI anti-cheat that works better than all the industry titans works in practice. This is the main section to look at. It's what's measuring the entropy or the randomness of aiming in gameplay. Higher number equals legit, lower number equals cheating. This trust score is basically the running judgment based on the events tracked. This records where the player has been aiming, this gives us a live feed of where the last shots were aimed, and this box shows the red flags it has picked up. The jitteriness of the line for entropy is a visualizer, it doesn't actually represent any data. And let's start off with a banger of a clip. Right now, Z-Laner is at 1.08 entropy with a very poor trust score, takes out this guy and his trust score improves, but suddenly when he parachutes it tanks all the way down to 0.49. While also tracking new live aim updates. The tool obviously made a mistake here and began tracking the third-person model of his own character. That is an inexcusable bug. How can you possibly make any determination on whether someone is cheating when an event like that is allowed to taint the data? And even worse, I couldn't find a single comment talking about this moment. The majority were more than happy to simply accept this tool as proof Z-Laner is cheating, while turning a complete blind eye to an extremely obvious and glaring mistake like this. To be fair, those comments may have existed and were potentially deleted, but there's no way for me to know. If we go into the description of this video, we see at the end of his report, this report does not confirm the presence of cheats at this stage, blah blah blah. We would have removed this player from the game. How crazy is that? Removing the player from the game with no evidence of cheats? So if you're a good player, that's enough for Call of Shame to boot you from the game, and ostensibly that means banning you from the game. This video shows the tool apparently working to detect this snap to a spectator in the gulag. and on a spin bot. I know it's actually important to test tools on blatant examples like this, but it does come across as a bit funny. Like, thanks, I didn't need an anti-cheat tool to know this is cheating. But what's worse is that this example is faked. For one, why are the other fields omitted from this example? This is his explanation for it.
For this demonstration, we've temporarily disabled entropy calculations based on aiming decay to highlight a core component of our system, Shadow Sight, a powerful update to our anti-cheat.
Which doesn't make sense. Is he worried we'll be confused by the extra boxes? No, he just wants to fake the test, and this is his weak justification for why he hides the evidence. There is data already inside the data nodes, but we don't get to see how many frames have already been analyzed or where it came from. And when the player fires at this enemy and lands hit markers, the entropy and track data does not update at all. But when the player snaps to a player in the gallery, it suddenly detects this big anomaly and adds new data. I believe this example was doctored to show off a capability of the anti-cheat that it can't accurately report, so we had to fake it. And how about this case study, where it starts off at frame 1 with red entropy. Suspicious aiming exceeds human limits. Like, come on! It literally starts off saying he's cheating before anything has even happened. How can anyone take this seriously? And then later in the video, after recording a bunch of data, he is now flagged as aim matches human performance. So it currently thinks he's legit, but then the streamer messes up and toggles his aim key for a blatant aimbot snap. Oh wait, actually he was just about to hop into a car. Same thing apparently, my bad. Okay, so now I'm gonna have a bunch of clips playing just to show you some standard examples of how the tool works in game. Try to figure out the patterns behind what makes the entropy go up or down, and then
Bro, this thing is so fake. How are people falling for this? This is so wild.
I mean, it's because they want to believe it. That's why, right?
Yeah,
we already kind of discussed that a few times in this stream. Like they want to.
It's just insane levels of
yeah.
gaslighting and manipulation. It's wild.
Yeah, it is. It's painful.
Holy fuck.
I'll chime in afterwards with my own opinions on what I think is happening.
Guardian is simply not happy with this player, and has found multiple suspicious aiming patterns.
Yourself. Bird.
Knock one up.
There's a fucking guy up here.
From what I'm seeing, this whole premise of tracking entropy or the randomness of movements is basically non-existent. And I think this largely comes down to the tool being based off computer vision, analyzing footage at 30 FPS of players using controllers with aim assist that already smooths out the aim. Because
not just everything he just said, but also it's been factually proven that on any cross-platform shooter, the recoil is significantly reduced on console versus PC.
Yes, yeah,
like that's
of course. It's
not
it's
like there's
so,
just
you can tell just looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah, not just aim assist. There's just all these little tools built into console to like baby the player and hold their hand and just make it like way easier. And it's just like, yeah, it's like, really, bro? You're trying to analyze this video footage for fucking cheats? It's like, it's so patently ridiculous. Just the premise itself just doesn't even hold up. It's just so stupid. Oh my goodness.
Anytime there's a smooth, great tracking movement, the entropy value tends to love that and increases the entropy value, raising their perceived legitimacy. On the other hand, many of the anomalies and flagged events that dip the entropy right down tend to be from quick crosshair movements that occur for a variety of reasons. In this example, the enemy moves behind line of sight, so the aim assist cuts out. So there's a sudden jump of the crosshair and the entropy value tanks. Then when she gets back on target and smoothly tracks them, the entropy value jumps back up. This time the enemy slides right past them, so they quickly aim right to shoot them, triggering a drop in entropy, even though they miss a bunch of shots and it doesn't look sus at all. But because there was a quick crosshair movement, the entropy dropped. Once again, the quick flick gets flagged, and he even misses shots when the enemy ducks into cover. The tracking barely ever seems to matter. It always seems to come down to these fast movements. If you remember from earlier on in the paper, I mentioned this 100 pixel inward delta section. I'm fairly sure this, or perhaps the whole 500 degrees per second human limit, is what's driving all of these drops in entropy. The tool isn't tracking human natural frequency jitteriness because it can't. Computer vision is limited when used on low FPS footage like this, and when you don't have access to in-game telemetry. All it's really judging the person on is fast crosshair movements, which obviously is an extremely flawed way to determine whether someone is cheating or not. And this one is rather interesting. Either it's detecting a quick crosshair movement because of both players moving so quickly, or the computer vision is having trouble tracking the enemy when they become occluded behind cover.
I would even go as far as to say that, like, unless there's like I would even go so far as to say it's just like raw video footage that's like a VOD, like that's not enough evidence to conclude whether somebody's cheating or not. Like, unless there's like specifically like fucking wall hacks or something that you can like physically see. Like besides that, like just looking at someone's aim, at best you can say something suspicious and requires more investigation. But like that's all you can get from video. Like unless you have like actual game data to go off of like what did their inputs look like? You know, it's like what is the engine seeing? Like unless like that's the actual like I was saying before, like that's the actual information like real anti-cheats are seeing. So it's like it's like. Just from looking at the video frames, there's only so much you can glean from that, and it's like there's just not enough there. There's just not enough data there to say one way or the other conclusively at all. It's just it's just such a flawed methodology.
Whether that's exactly what's happening or not, I can't be sure, but there almost always seems to be some sort of cover, line of sight, and or a fast crosshair movement associated with these dips in entropy. The great tracking and recoil control that people love to point out as evidence of cheating barely ever plays a role. In fact, it's this great tracking that tends to bring up people's entropy scores. The bottom line is that this anti-cheat is not functional. It's not working in the same way that he describes in his paper and videos. All of this talk about entropy is rubbish. It's not accurately tracking any of that. All the tool is functionally doing is tracking quick crosshair movements and getting confused by objects occluding the enemy. Some of these case study videos also feature this amazing report summary at the end, which is a total delight to watch.
Following a comprehensive technical review, our analysis has revealed several concerning findings regarding the player's recent performance metrics. Firstly, we observed poor overall hit distribution, alongside a headshot ratio that was significantly lower than expected, and similar third-party inputs. We also identified a concerning pattern in hit distribution, where more than 50% of all aimed shots clustered in the upper torso region. Combined with the abnormally low headshot ratio, these results cannot be dismissed. Further analysis of zone movement showed the player failed to maintain position in green or yellow strippings, although not yet sufficient to trigger a formal violation. To summarize,
I know, right? What the fuck?
the entropy level indicates unnatural aim behavior. The trust score is critically low. Multiple issues raised red flags.
Most people aim for the chest.
Our formal recommendation is as follows.
Yeah, that was another thing in the Call of Shame Riley video that just like fucking blew my mind. It's like the AI voice was just like, look, the crosshair constantly snaps to center mass. It's like, yeah, that's where most people aim. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, that's the largest part of the fucking hitbox. It's like, yeah, you snap to center mass, and then if you have time, you like adjust to the head, you know, unless you're like Rops or Ziwu or fucking Donk or something, you know, but like aside us mere mortals, you know, it's like you aim center mass first and then you go for the head. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's suspicious. Have you ever played a video game before, bud?
Yeah, no kidding. It's even worse. Like the Riley footage too was like specifically in Battlefield. It's like Battlefield has this thing called bloom or bullet deviation or bullet spread, where depending on how much your character is moving or how long you've held down the trigger, the bullets don't always go where your crosshair is. Sometimes they will deviate from where your crosshair is a certain amount. Like that's a built-in mechanic in the game. Your shots aren't always 100% accurate in that game. So it can actually be suboptimal to aim for the head sometimes because your shots don't always go where the crosshair is. It's like oftentimes you do want to just be straight up aiming center mass, you know? And that's a game specific thing.
That's a good point. I didn't even really think of that. I just aim center mass and like try to go like spray up, you You know what I mean? Unless someone's like standing still, unless I get the drop on them. But if it's a duel, I just aim center mass because I suck, to be honest. But I hadn't thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, like aim gods in Counter-Strike will like like whenever possible aim for the head, because if you counter strafe perfectly in Counter-Strike and you get the timing down to where right when you pull off the first bullet, like your character is not moving, then your shot will be 100% accurate. So you can be moving, and then just at the moment that you make your one shot, you can input your mechanics in such a way where your character model is no longer registered as moving. So you can like game the system like that, but like not every shooter has that. And then like some shooters like Rainbow Six Siege, for example, like doesn't have any accuracy penalty for moving. So you can move as much as you can, run and gun as much as you want in that game, which is why that game has its own like set of mechanics and stuff. But it's like, yeah, but like in other games like Battlefields, like you don't have a mechanic like that. So it's like, yeah, the strategy in terms of aiming even from game to game is completely different.
This
is yeah. So how would it? That's the thing. Yeah, that's a good point. So anti-cheats have to be really calibrated for different games.
100%. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, that's another problem, which is like feeding it video clips. It's like, bro, it's just like, yeah, it's dude, everything is individual to each game. It's just, yeah, it's so wild.
From any pending payouts, and we advise tournament administrators to suspend participation privileges pending an in-depth manual review.
In this one, he's saying that there were too many upper chest shots at 51.9% and not enough headies at 8.7%. Yet here it says for head hits in the head region, excessive may indicate aimbot targeting. So which is it? Here you say too many